Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I don't know what to expect from this episode. We all know why we're here. For episode 7 of the amazing digital circus. Yay! What a ride this has been and still is. I have so many thoughts and feelings, especially since last episode has been plaguing my mind every second of every day since I had the displeasure of watching it and then watching it again while editing. But as always, I am equal parts excited because what a show this is. Just such deep character work, a masterclass in character writing, and I don't even know what to say. And it's probably also contributed to by the fact that I've been listening to the fan songs pretty much nonstop since I filmed that video. All this morning I was listening to them, and funnily enough, the fan songs, great, like really amazing. Why am I just listening and watching on repeat the Pomni Jax duet of Daisy Bell? Because oof, Pomni harmonizing on the I'm Half Crazy, it's addictive. I keep listening to that part in particular. Like I said, when a song grabs me, I am grabbed in a chokehold and there's no escape. But yes, we will be tackling the episode called Beach Episode for this one. And I have concerns. I'm concerned because maybe it's a chill time. Maybe it's just a great beach episode. But I've read enough shoujo manga and manga in general and anime because they tend to have, stereotypical beach episodes. And drama always happens. Could be good. Could be good drama. Could be bad drama. And especially after the way things were left last episode with, I just keep playing it over and over in my mind. The multiple times that Jack stood at the back of the theatre watching before going to sit somewhere else. Like, you could see he wanted to go sit with Pomni or with the group. We get these little morsels of, I can't talk about it. But yeah, safe to say I'm very nervous to see the state of play after that. Like I said, I know he was the funny one last episode and preceding, but I said it last episode too, I can't see how things are going to go back to the way they were, like an equilibrium, and him just pretend like nothing happened, because even if he could emotionally, which I don't think he can after the breakdown we saw, but I don't think Pomni would allow it either. Like, too much has happened. It just, like, maybe it would be amicable, and Pomni is one for second chances. I've no doubt that could be okay, but I just don't think it's going to feel the same for either of them. And I don't know. I just don't imagine Jax being in a good place or in the mood for many jokes. Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to double down and overcorrect and just really lean as hard as he can into that archetype he's chosen for himself. But I have a feeling that might not be the case, or it might not be possible. I have also heard, yes, I'm so sorry. I did realize after filming the episode that this episode was actually the one to avoid subtitles. So don't worry, I did realize that. I know no subtitles this episode. And I've also been set a few expectations, given that I love that some of you like to guess how long each next episode is going to be. And a few people guessed 2 hours to maybe 2.5 because apparently this episode is a little less character focused and sort of maybe more plot focused. Yeah, I feel like since maybe episode 2 was an introduction to character, I would say. So since then, I feel like we've been in a very character driven arc. I haven't even really focused on the circus as a concept or them being trapped, really, because it's more about the consequences of that, how it's affecting the characters, that's been really at the forefront. So based on some hints, maybe we're getting some answers, or maybe just more questions from this episode. But I am once again stalling, and I need to just bite the bullet and get into this episode. So, I mean, if it is slightly less character focused, it actually might be a shorter reaction for me, because character dynamics, I need to dig through them and just uncover every little bit. But when there's more plot focus or plot mysteries, I think there's often less room for speculation. I mean, obviously still lots of analysis, but I feel like it's very easy to say, oh, this plot thing happened, so I think maybe this. Whereas with character, there's so much there to work with and justify sort of why your interpretation was this. It's just, yeah. I wonder if this will end up being a shorter one than the other two. God, watch me jinx myself and it'd be 5 hours. Nope, I rebuke that energy. I denounce it. But either way, we're doing this. So yeah, let's crack on into episode 7, beach episode. Ugh. All right, here we go. Let's lock in. Oh, it's a long pause.
Is the adventure over already?
What?
No, the adventure hasn't even started yet.
Okay, so I don't know how this, I mean, I guess they're all parts of them, but I was gonna say, did someone disassemble them or did they do it themselves? But maybe it's an Iron Giant situation where, you know, the hands can move, or whether they have to actually be connected to them to, maybe Gangle helped? But I was just about to say, I'm assuming this is a continuation from last episode where Zubul was trying to hide to avoid Kane, maybe to avoid going on the adventures. Hence, is it over already? Slept through it? No, you're just in time.
Even started yet.
Oh, well, don't be a narc. Find your own hiding spot.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's just that we haven't even seen Kane at all today. Plus, Gangle was looking for you. Hi, Zubul.
Wait. Sorry, that is so adorable. The way that Zubul's looking up at Gangle and Gangle's looking down smiling, and so nice that we're seeing more and more of Gangle smiling with the tragedy mask on. We've been seeing it a fair bit recently and it's just very heartwarming, and the fact that Gangle was seeking Zubul out. I'm just, whatever direction they're going with this, platonic or otherwise, I'm into it. They are so cute. But back to the matter at hand. That's alarming. Where's Kane? I mean, not the last that we saw of him, but when he was alone last episode looking at the Polaroids of the C and A facility, which we now know is Kane and Abel from the guns, looking at them, almost caressing them at one point, like very either tenderly or menacingly. It could be either one, but that has me, it gives me pause, literally, for where things are gonna go this episode. Okay, Alright, I'll give it another little bit, but I want to make another cold open prediction. So I'll see where this in particular is going.
Wait, what's this?
Hello, my little rubber baby buggy bumpers! Today, I've decided to go to the store to get essential ingredients for my signature milk and cigarette casserole. I hope you can handle yourselves until I get back.
Okay, I mean, that drawing of Kane with the love hearts. And, that's actually kind of scary, because obviously him being the giant pair of dentures that he is, because, you know, it's just teeth shape, mouth shape. It looks very scary when he has a facial expression, because the teeth kind of morph into some non-teeth-like shape to do it. It just doesn't look right. So it's so cute that's why I almost didn't know who it was. Just the eyes, and then a cute little smile, and then the other row of teeth on top that looks like normal teeth. So it's actually kind of a cute rendition of him having a smile and his little top hat on CNA paper. And then Bubble, and then the little bee. He loves bees. And I want to know what the significance is of that. I mean, unless it's something as simple as A, B, C, which I doubt, but it could be, I don't know, a fun Easter egg, or maybe there was a third sibling, if there even is an Abel, which, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But this is, I don't know if it's supposed to read this way, but this is reading as such, you know, dad abandonment energy. Like the little rubber baby buggy bumpers, okay, but they haven't seen him all day. And he's like, I'm going to the store to get both milk, common excuse, and cigarettes. Another, like, stereotypical what you always see in movies. You know, he went out for ciggies and never came back. But yeah, I hope you can handle yourselves until I get back. I feel like I just need to move on from the fact that, what store are you going to, Kane? Just conjure some up. I have to believe he was doing something else, and I want to know what he was actually doing. And I mean, it's interesting that I would assume he would type most messages like this, but he also seems to be a fan of doing some doodles. Could have handwritten it, but I mean, I don't know. He's a very complicated character to figure out. But okay, should I do my cold open predictions now? I don't know if I've got enough info, but based on the info we have, I mean, Zubul hiding is nothing new, but I'm concerned because Pomni was concerned. We don't get to see much to their daily lives. We usually tune in right before an adventure or right after one or both. But the fact that Pomni said we haven't seen Kane all day, informs us that he is typically around. And I think the last time that we saw him kind of AWOL was it the first episode? I think it was. Yeah, because when Cosmo abstracted and they were looking for Kane and Pomni was calling for him and he just wasn't around. And that was also right before Pomni stumbled into the CNA facility thing, which maybe was a setup, but maybe it wasn't. And maybe that's connected in some way. But yeah, we haven't seen Kinga either, but I'm, one, concerned that Jax isn't here, which maybe he's fine. Maybe he's fine. It's nice that Gangle and Ragatha and I guess Pomni, I don't know if they all walked over together, but it's nice to see them together. And Ragatha seems to be in a little better spirits after last episode. Thank you, Kinga. And also Pomni. But last episode opened with Jax and Pomni finding Zooble hiding. And this episode, it's just Pomni. And I think it is significant that it's Pomni because I do think she is the most likely to, look for people to clue them in. Like, we haven't seen Kane, something's going on. But also, it's such a stark contrast of, these two episodes technically have started the exact same, but Pomni's alone and Jax isn't there. But also the entire focus of this, rather than it being about Pomni and Jax and mischief and Daisy Belle and just preparing for that adventure, so far this has pretty much all been about Kane. Like, I'm looking for you because we can't find Kane. Here's this letter about Kane. And the fact that some of you said it was less character-focused, do you mean player character-focused? And where did he go? I don't know if it's going to give us more answers or just more questions, but I think we're getting some more Kane focus and maybe some CNA stuff. I don't know. He's such an enigma, so I'm not going to be too absolute with that. It could go anywhere. Each episode really could go anywhere, but yeah, tentatively, those are my thoughts.
I hope you can handle yourselves until I get back.
The fact that he was there reading it himself.
Well, this was fun while it lasted.
So, what's the adventure today?
Now, why are they all standing there together except for Jax? I'm not okay, I'm not doing well, and I don't think he is either.
What's the adventure today?
Oh, I don't have an adventure for you today, so you can do whatever you feel like.
Alright, sounds fine to me.
You should ask me for suggestions on what to do instead.
No.
What should we do instead?
No, Gangle.
Gangle, don't humor him.
Question, Gangle. For an answer, let me consult the Chinese room.
What can I say? I guess we've just found Kane at a very Chinese time in his life. But also, so many thoughts, as always. The fact that everyone is just acting like business as usual, even though Jax isn't there. I'm interested to know the timeline, how many days or adventures have been between last episode and this one, if any. But I have to assume that it's been a few at least because no one looks concerned that Jax isn't there. So maybe we missed that, the day after of, is he not coming? Like, what's going on? Is he joining? So it sort of seems like this is a little bit of a new normal that, ironic that Zooble's the one standing here now and not Jax. They were trying to avoid the adventure anyway, so it's not like they were just avoiding it because Jax was taking part or anything. But it's just an interesting switch up in the state of play, I guess. But yeah, that was both very like Kane and very unlike Kane. Like, there is no adventure today. Just do whatever you want. I was like, what? But then him wanting to make suggestions, I'm like, okay. I don't know, he seems a little out of sorts, but also entirely himself, which tracks because we don't really know that much about him. I am shocked we haven't seen Bubble yet, though, because normally I feel like at Kane's first appearance of the episode, Bubble's usually there as well, but we saw Bubble on the paper, so maybe that's the quota already filled. Now, I guess let's find out about this Chinese room.
Okay, he had a bit prepared.
He did have a bit prepared.
Okay, why Chinese? Does this actually mean anything?
It's a mystery what's behind that door, but I believe it's a fluent Chinese speaker who will give me advice.
Can I just ask why? Like, what even is...
Shut! You're only making the joke take longer.
Honestly, Kane needs to take this under advisement and do more very, illogical things or things that on the surface don't seem to make any sense. Oh, Sorry, I just realized they're wearing that little foot attachment that looks like the little projectile again. I am a fan of that. Still lamenting the loss of the duck foot, but I'm also kind of noticing that one of their feet looks very similar to Pomni's shoe, and I actually think it's supposed to be, because even the actual leg portion of the attachment, even though it's shapen in like diamonds, it is the same color palette as Pomni's leg. Huh. I mean, I know Gangle's mask was kind of in there, or the happy mask, I don't know about that. But I wonder if that is just for style or whether it signifies anything about character for this episode, or, I don't know, kind of an alliance, or not literally making an alliance, but being aligned on something, maybe being on the same page about something, Zubul and Pomni, which wouldn't surprise me. They were in agreement last episode about, wanting to go on more chill adventures. I think they do overlap in a lot of ways. So that's interesting to me. I wonder if that means anything for this episode in particular. But no, as I was saying, I feel like Kane needs to lean into this more, because this is the most engaged we've seen Zubul about an adventure. I love the line, oh, he was setting up a bit, like we thought we were free. But no, he just had an elaborate bit planned. But yeah, so many questions from Zubul, which, fair, but I think this outside of the box framing of the adventure finally has Zubul a bit intrigued.
What even is...
Shut! You're only making the joke take longer.
What does it say?
I don't know. I don't understand Chinese.
Hilarious.
Can we open up the door and get that supposedly fluent Chinese speaker to explain the joke, as Kane indicated?
Hilarious.
I don't know. Why don't you guys hang out at the digital lake? These locations have just kinda been there this whole time. Not sure why you never visit them.
You should throw a freaking beach party.
Good boy.
Oh, that could be fun.
Okay, for a minute I thought we were getting another episode 1 parallel. I thought Bubble said you should throw up so he could clean it up. But no, throw a beach party. But that was interesting. Him actually, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, I know we've seen him slowly kind of break down a little bit, episode by episode, but this bit, and then just go explore or something. You never go visit all these locations, like the lake and everything. Whereas usually he is just adamant about them going on adventures, and yeah, I do think he is acting out of sorts. But also, we're 2 minutes in, and we've gotten almost no real character moments. I mean, Zubul and Gangle, but already I do think we're getting more of a Kane focus, and also more of a, like, I feel like this setting, the circus, is more important than it has been maybe since episode 1, because it's been about character more so than where they are. It's kind of taken second fiddle to the dynamics and the relationship building, whereas, yeah, there's a different energy already so far, so, I'm intrigued.
Freaking beach party.
Good boy.
Oh, that could be fun.
Plus, there are some fun NPCs out there that none of you have even interacted with yet.
I'm guessing they're not intelligent ones.
They most certainly are not. Now, go have fun!
I mean, I was saying in like the first or second episode that this circus looks interesting, like the theme park and the castle, everything. It looked fun, and I wanted to see more of it. And I think last episode was when I realized how big the inside of the big top actually was. Like going through the pipes and running around while playing the gun, the gun game. So it'll be interesting to see what the outside sections have to offer. But I'm devastated by how it's almost as if Jax never existed. That's the way the vibe is right now, and I want to know when we are, how long after last episode. But yeah, Kane poofing into nothing. The NPCs, I mean, I guess after what happened with Gummy Goo, I don't know if he would let them roam free with a bunch of NPCs, lest they bring one home again. But yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about with the AI NPC characters is I feel like Kane can't let them roam free, nor let them just freely interact with the characters if he's not there to supervise. Maybe. I'm thinking about a lot right now, so I'll let that cook.
Wow, what a good day! Wow!
Okay, good. At least not the horny moon.
Alright, so who wants to try Kane's magical changing booth?
Ugh, the
I
hooves.
guess I'll give it a go.
Go on, Pomni.
Wow, you look mediocre. If you ever need a sunburn, give me a call.
I I don't want a sunburn.
Should have thought of that before I decided I hate you.
No. Okay, I'm loving the outfit. I love light blue. But to those of you who joke that, I sync up with Pomni all the time, and that I've kind of got the fuck ass bob going on, but I don't go outside, so I'm as pasty as she is. That is an outfit I would wear. I love, I support, and yeah, the sun and the moon are just whack ass. I don't. They give me pause.
I hate you.
Don't interact with the sun. She's just like that.
Oh, wait. I don't know if this is something, but it just, I enjoyed this interaction. I feel like there's so many ways it could have gone. Like, she could have just said, don't worry about that. You look great. Oh, we'll go find some shade. Just like, that positive veneer, the platitudes. Whereas she says something a little negative. And it's not like it's about Jax. So, and even then she kind of catches herself and is like, ugh, oopsie, I didn't mean to say that. It was just, the voice it almost feels like her voice's pitch is a little bit lower, like more relaxed and not, hi, Pomni? And she's like, don't worry about, like, the sun's just like that. It just felt like such a, a down-to-earth interaction. I have hope. Absolutely loving Gangle's outfit. I'm loving the blue. It's giving mermaid. This is everything to me. She's beautiful. Loving Zuba's little umbrella. And the little pinwheel thing to keep cool. Everyone just seems to be having a fun, chill time. The blue again. Loving Ragatha's suit. Cute bikini. Lots of light blue. Everyone's having such a fun, chill time. Where's Jax? What is he doing? Is he okay? Okay, Kinga. Work it. Having a little board shorts moment here. This is the calm before the storm. I can feel it.
Gangle, wait.
I fucking knew it. Not this, which I'm upset about just because of the circumstances. I don't think it's unjustified or like, Gangle's been, the whole group, they've been put through enough antics. Like, this is nothing horrendous that they've done, but just the symbolism of that. And Jack's kind of, losing his mind and seeing the watermelon kind of smashed like that. Also kind of mirroring the whole, just a fetus and an egg that you need to crack open kind of thing. If this is, symbolically his mental state, his mind right now, just cracked open, obliterated, not in a good place. And this is the thing, this is why dynamics are complex, because I know that if you had to choose based on everything we've seen, people would be more inclined to say Jax is, on the worst end of the spectrum, more of a bad person in the way he treats others. And Zubul and Gangle have been, quite positive to each other. And not saying it's unfounded or unjustified or that it's unreasonable of, them to feel that way. But Zubul does have a little bit of a mean streak, a snarky streak, and that is fine and normal. That's totally fine. But I'm just pointing it out for comparison's sake. Like, we've seen plenty of moments from Gangle too. Even Ragatha when she lets her walls down, everyone, people aren't infallible, everyone, it's human nature, we're not perfect. So it's fine. All that to say, it's just an interesting switch up a little bit, Jax being the isolated one. Very clearly, he's far away, but I can see he is not smiling. Everyone is ignoring him. And I don't know if that's self-inflicted, like maybe they've been trying and he's like, literally, do not talk to me, go away. Or, I don't know, I'm sure we'll see a little bit more. But just to compare, it feels like he's the one being ganged up on now, which is not, I feel like I'm qualifying this a lot. Just know I'm not maligning anyone else in the group. It's, maybe it's nice for them to finally have a leg up on him and finally feel like the ones who, we're going to screw around and, smash open a watermelon with his skull on it. But it just makes me really sad because it felt like maybe him, I don't know, behaving the way that he was with everyone was his way of maybe feeling like he was included, maybe that he had a purpose, if we consider that maybe some of his antics were more distraction and keeping people's minds off it, or just whatever his motivations were for that. The fact that he's so defeated and resigned now, I have such a bad feeling. Because in a way, this is him, mask off, facade off. It's just there's been such... the power in this group has been redistributed. I don't know. I feel like I could talk right now for like 30 minutes because there's so much we don't know that I really want to consider all these different possibilities, that how long it's been, or, what's the dynamic like between them right now. But I think I'll let it cook, and I'll say one more thing before we move on and see what's coming, is that he's still here. I don't know if he was forced to be when Kane was like, everyone go outside and do a beach party. I don't know if they were, clicked and summoned here. I don't know. But we don't know that that's the case. Maybe they did just come out here. And Jax is here too, which reminds me of him standing at the back of the theatre watching the group, wanting to go sit down maybe, but it's like when Gangle's mask breaks, his facade kind of broke to the point where maybe that was him realizing it too. I mean, when he swore and he was like, fuck, and he knew he lost control, it could be that he felt really bad, like actually bad for going too far. It could also be him knowing that he had just crossed past that line. And it's kind of like the point of no return of like, what do I do now? What should I do? So the fact that he's still here on the periphery, I mean, a lot of the time that's more lonely than just being by yourself. But I don't know, maybe part of him thinks if he's not, around the others at all, maybe he'll really lose his mind. I can't dwell on this. I need to move on because I'm spiraling. Oh, Jax, come on. Pomni, Ragatha, and King are just having fun. Oh shit. Hell yeah, Pomni. Oh no, what?
Hey there, if you want to find my sunken treasure chest,
Whoa. What in the bold glamour filter? What in the Chad mouth? Like, this is the handsome Squidward of sharks. I'm very concerned by what I'm looking at. I'm not enjoying. Those eyes are just unseeing and unfeeling. Almost Kane's eyes. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure he designed it. Maybe this is one of the NPCs he was talking. Let me go back.
If you want to find my sunken treasure chest, you'll have to try better than that.
Huh? Oh!
So, I was just talking with my brother here, and yeah, you are definitely not getting our sunken treasure chest. Definitely not.
Do I even want your treasure chest? It's not like there's anything to spend money on.
I'm the one that tells lies.
Dude, you ruined it.
Is that your treasure?
Dude, no, they took everything. That was my entire life savings, dude. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. That was everything. Oh my god.
There's a first for everything because I'm speechless. What? This makes me piss myself laughing. His little posture walking on his tail and leaning over it. Oh my god, he is just, what is that top heavy build he's working with? Okay, this is either very random or very important, so I'm actually going to go back and listen to what they said again, because second treasure chest, what's the first? Okay, I've watched this scene like 5 times now, because one, they sound so goofy that I couldn't even understand the other brother at first. I thought he said, I'm the one that's alive. But he said, I'm the one that tells lies, which I don't know what to think about this, because I don't know, I feel like I could say something now that is reaching and like is completely like not true at all, but it's the only thing that I thought of. I don't know what they're referring to by, you're not going to find our second treasure chest, because that implies a first. So I don't know about that. When we first met this shark friend, my first thought, I mean, you heard me, was his giant ass mouth and his eyes that vaguely, for some reason, reminded me of Kane, right? But if you think about it, the shape of the jaw, like the big mouth, I mean, that could give, Kane energy. Maybe, I was going to say maybe he programmed this little shark in his image. But then he said, I was just talking to my brother here, who says, I'm the one that tells lies. And he did not sound well. But also, if this is something to, I don't even know where it spawned from, but there's the common like mental puzzle to figure out where they say, there's 2 people in front of a door. One of them tells lies and the other tells the truth or something. Ask them questions. I feel like maybe that's what it's referencing by I'm the one that tells lies. But if he said that, I'm the one who tells lies, then if that's a lie, then he's actually the one that tells the truth. But if he's the one that tells the truth, then he couldn't have said I'm the one that tells lies. I'm very fascinated by this. But also when Pomni says it's not like there's anything to spend money on, my first thought was, yeah, just like how I mentioned earlier when Kane said he was going to the store. I'm like, what store? So I was like, huh? And this, when he says I'm the one that tells lies, and he goes, dude, you ruined it. Because I guess if they were doing that scenario, he did ruin it. because he said something that, if he was telling the truth, is a lie, because he's not telling a lie, but if he does tell lies, then he's telling the truth by saying that. He did ruin the, you know, the problem to be solved, the puzzle, if that's what it was referencing. But I don't know if this is purely informed by my cold open prediction that this is going to be more of a Kane focus episode, and the fact that he said there's some NPCs, and Zub was like, I'm guessing they're not intelligent ones, and he's like, definitely not. Maybe that was either true or a lie. Either these sharks have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just, I could imagine them being little test NPCs because of how incoherent they're being. But they could also be, I don't know, maybe they mean something, and Kane saying, no, they're not intelligent, is like, don't listen to them, kind of thing. I don't know. But purely informed by that, I'm thinking, why are there two sharks here? Kind of, I mean, this guy reminds me of Kane. I don't know if this is setting up a dynamic on purpose, but two brothers, one's kind of reminding me of Kane. And that moral dilemma, like the one who lies, the one that tells the truth, there's the whole Cain and Abel, you know, history. Is this a parallel? Did Kane put this here for a reason? So much to think about. I don't want to get stuck on these sharks for too long, especially if it's just a joke and they mean nothing. I'll feel so silly, but it's worth analysing, because it's making me think.
That was everything. Oh my god.
He lost everything.
Did you find it?
Nah, somebody plundered it before I could.
What?
The treasure.
What?
The eye.
Oh, wait, you're right.
Somebody plundered it.
What was that for?
Oh, let me think.
Everything.
There's that time you ran me over with a steamroller, the time you pushed Gangle into a pool of piranhas,
Yeah.
when you set me on fire, mailed me a pipe bomb, threw me into an active volcano. I could go on.
Aren't you supposed to be miserable about your ability to choose your own body or something?
Aren't you supposed to be causing trouble for everyone? I've been starting...
Guys, I literally feel sick. Just so defeated. Ears all droopy. The eyes just telling it all. But I also appreciate this in a way, because I said this last episode, I can't see Pomni being someone who, after all of that, like if the push away innings continued, I can't see Pomni like crawling after someone trying to, you know, desperately earn their attention, or not that she was, but she doesn't seem to be susceptible to that kind of dynamic where, you know, the wanting what you can't have, you know, the more someone pushes you away, the more that you try and get close kind of thing. If it feels like there's something to work with, it's different. But after what happened last episode, I was like, I wouldn't blame her if she just kind of left it at, okay, I won't push it. That's how you want it to be. Kept on checking on him, wouldn't sit with them. I wonder how much time has passed, but she doesn't seem like the kind of person to push it. And I think when she recalibrated last episode after the hug, like I think she knew that she pushed him past the capacity of like opening up that he was capable of in that state. And so maybe she doesn't want to push him further if he's not ready, and especially if he's in this spot potentially at like breaking point. I think it is a realistic depiction of this, and she's also not going to just stop her life and, you know, be miserable because he is. She has other fulfilling connections in the circus. She's having fun. And I think, you know, if Jax tried to be part of something again, I think she would, with open arms, like be open to that. But she's also not going to base her life around Jax's moods. And she's giving the space that, you know, maybe he needs. I mean, obviously, maybe it's a net negative if he's stewing and, you know, self-loathing. It's breaking my heart, but I think he spent so long pretending and, you know, not confronting things, and I think maybe he needs to just stop for a minute. I say that being hopeful that maybe he's taking this opportunity to think and not just wallow, but God, I'm so scared. And just the no reaction, the nothing at all, the creases under the eyes of like someone who hasn't slept, not that they need to, but just gives way to such a tired expression. Also this, I don't know if it's different this episode, the animation is just beautiful. The reflection of the umbrella on Jax's head, just the textures, everything is so vibrant, and I don't know, it just really looks good, which it always does, but maybe we just didn't get to see it at its full potential inside the circus, whereas now we've got the different lighting and it just looks really good. I want to take a bite out of those leaves. I don't know why. But I'm also thankful for Zubul here, explaining kind of what I was trying to articulate earlier, where yes, they're being a bit, nasty, the watermelon thing. But that wasn't them actually hurting anyone. It was just they drew a face on a watermelon. It's not. There's so much worse that could be done. So much worse that Jax has done. And again, going back to laser tag, like, they're not really getting hurt here. So it's more the perceived intent behind it rather than actually getting pushed into a pool of piranhas. It's the pain of like, why would you want to do that to me kind of thing. It's a psychological pain and hurt rather than it actually being hurt. Whereas I feel like Jax can justify it as like, I'm not actually hurting anyone. These are just jokes and I don't even mean them. I'm putting on, I'm the funny one. These are just jokes that are part of my persona. So it's fine, right? I can't be doing anything wrong. But also knowing that he is, it's the cognitive dissonance there that I think he knows is there. So I appreciate Zubul sort of listing off some things we haven't seen but could probably infer that things like this happened. To show, yeah, I'm giving you some back. But this is where the problem is. It was almost funny with the few times that they've kind of teased him back or given him, some of his own medicine, like the corn and the maid outfit. He's just been really, he dishes it out, but he can't take it for whatever reason. I have some theories, but something just hits different when they do something to him and he just sits there, doesn't even flinch, doesn't say anything back because it just feels all the more like broken and defeated. Oh, and this is so sad. Because yeah, usually you'd say something to him and he would just like either smile and laugh it off or he'd roast you back or say something worse and just no response to it except like doesn't deflect it but doesn't deny it either. Just, kind of, what are you doing over here? Aren't you supposed to be? Oh, and that's a really good insight into it. Feels like the walls are down because he framed that as a positive. Yeah, because we know that he really doesn't like the way that he looks. He feels like he looks ridiculous, like the cartoon rabbit thing, and he's like, God, you look stupid. And so he's kind of like, you're looking a gift horse in the mouth. Aren't you supposed to be upset about being actually able to choose the way that you look? Which maybe that lack of control is, again, part of why he wanted to choose the archetype that he is, to feel like he has some semblance of choice here. So it's interesting that the only biting thing in any way, supposedly, that he said wasn't even an insult, but it was rather, aren't you supposed to be off lamenting something that maybe I wish was more in my control? Especially after the tail thing. He's like, well, now I have no control over what I look like. I thought I had a tail and now I don't, and now he does again. So that's so interesting. But then Zubul's clapback of, well, aren't you supposed to be making trouble for everyone? And he looks so sad and then looks away, either in defeat or like you could consider it deflecting, but I don't see it as that. Like the look in his eyes and then the quick look away, but you can still see his face. It's not like before where he fully like turns away and hides his expression. It's just on his face for everyone to see, but he turns away, which maybe is charitable, but I sort of interpret this more as shame and guilt maybe shame that he can't conjure up that persona anymore. Maybe he can't do it after what happened. So he's kind of being avoidant, but I see it more as, she said, aren't you supposed to be making trouble for everyone? And I wonder if what happened with Pomni last episode's running through his mind. He almost looks guilty when he looks away and ashamed. And maybe he can't pretend anymore and convince himself that everything he was doing was funny or for everyone's benefit, I'm a distraction. Like, I think he's now leaning in the absolute opposite direction maybe of, I'm worthless. Like, yes, let me look away and think about the fact that I'm nothing. I do just cause trouble for people. And, I can't.
I've been starting to think that maybe the ability to change is fine. Not needing to commit to one thing all the time.
How about that?
And if I do still have problems, I talk about them with the people I trust.
Hold the fucking phone. Because why are they wearing Jax's arm? That's Jax's hand, his glove thing. I remember because it always looks like, the little Mickey Mouse glove type things, but in yellow, or like from Glove World in SpongeBob. And that, again, it's so symbolic because the watermelon thing, they smashed it and Jax is behind it. And here they're talking about how, maybe we don't have to just be one thing all the time. I think sort of looking literally at Jax's hand, which is maybe not by design, but it makes me think of when he was looking at his own hand last episode, and it was the left hand, looking at it after pushing Pomni, and then continued after that just looking at his hand. Maybe thinking about the things that he's done, abstraction, maybe the people he's lost, just so many things. And so for Zubul to say that, there is sort of that parallel between them. And like, we don't have to commit to just being one thing all the time. It's very applicable to Jax and the persona that he was choosing to put on. And then the panic when he would accidentally let that down and let other sides of him come out with Pomni. He was really trying to shut down and avoid those other sides of himself, I guess as a coping mechanism. This is very interesting. And this is the thing. As soon as Jax isn't... Oh, and I just realized that Zubal's other attachment, the little swirly thing, could be, you know, a reference to Gangle's ribbons maybe. I'm so curious about this, but that is 100% Jax's arm and Pomni's leg. What the fuck? But this is also devastating, but so promising, because the minute that Jax isn't, you know, being a bit of a dick, and Zubal can see that struggle under the surface, yeah, the teasing is still there, like, you're not off the hook, buddy. But at the same time, it's like, hey, if you actually are having problems, they can be talked about with the people you trust. Looking over at the group, like, Jax, you can do that too. You can talk about things. It's not entirely animosity. And I always think it's fair they're dishing out what he does as well. But I think someone like Zuba, who has gone through identity struggles, I think it's fitting that they are also sympathetic, even going back to the nice versus good argument, and even being morally consistent in a way of, just because someone has been a dick to you, like, yeah, you can give it back to them. But when it comes down to it, would you help them even if they wouldn't do the same for you? I think that was a tiny little olive branch from Zubal. Jax might not take it as that, especially with the way it was said and the state he's in right now, but it was, I think in a way it was an invitation, like, we're over there, you can talk about it, but you won't. God, that expression says a million words. Like, when he says, how about that? Just the way their eyes kind of flicker as they're really looking at him and they're like, okay, I'm going to stop messing around, like something really is off. It's like that appraising look of, ooh, this is not a good state he's in.
I talk about them with the people I trust.
Good thing I don't have any problems then.
Where are you going?
Anywhere you losers won't yap my ear off.
Oh?
Hello there! How's the shrimp NPC?
No. Oh. Okay. You can even feel it. There's one little moment. Oh God, you can feel how fucking tired he is. Because the minute he is able to put back on this facade for a second, he immediately has to turn and walk away. Because I think he knows he won't be able to keep it up. But also, the fact that you can even hear in his voice how tired and defeated he is. And no, he's not back to himself. It's not the same mask of teasing and antics and poking fun at people like the reflex from before. It was deflecting about himself. You know, Zubal extending an olive branch and he's like, good thing I don't have any problems then. And he still, he did not sound like himself. He couldn't even make it through the sentence. He said, good thing I don't have it. And he's already like started turned away, bringing that motif back. And he's walking away so sad. Oh, so sadly. And again, trying to isolate himself anywhere where you losers won't yap my ear off. Again, voice missing that typical smarmy quality he has. It's like just the veneer of it up just enough that he can walk away and not engage, which is funny because it feels so contradictory. He's like, anyway, you losers can't yap my ear off. He's the one yapping everyone's ear off all the time. And people typically aren't the ones, you know, reaching out to him or yapping his ear off. He's the one causing trouble and sort of getting in between things, inserting himself in, other than Pomni after he made the initial effort, you know, she was then trying to get close to him. Other than that, no one's been trying to yap his ear off. But if he frames it in that way, it's like, I'm walking away for peace and quiet rather than I'm walking away so I don't have to confront my own everything. And as soon as it cut to Pomni, I knew. I was like, no, she's gonna see. I knew it. Like, she's trying to give him space and she's trying to let him work through his shit, or maybe, especially because she was, you know, taking that step back after trying to push him to open up. I think she doesn't want to break him, but she's still concerned. Same with the theatre. Letting him sit by himself, but watching, making sure, or trying to, that nothing bad is going to happen. But then the shrimp and the NPC, okay. But he said, as the shrimp NPC, didn't say anything else. And then photorealistic fried shrimp. That's a hell of a sunburn indeed. But yeah, okay, that's adorable. What's that little house in the background? A little beach cabin or something? But yeah, Ragatha and King are working on a sandcastle together. Zubul and Gangle quite literally just like skipping together through the sand. And I like that Pomni can fit in kind of in any of these circles, really. But she feels more isolated now because of her concern for Jax. Not because she's being ostracized, but because I don't know, I feel like it's consuming a lot of her thoughts. She's still going about her day, and I appreciate that. But I don't know, she feels like such a pillar of the group now. And I think she feels some responsibility maybe for Jax. But yeah, seeing him walk away, but then the NPC watching and trying to wave her over, I'm assuming the NPC who was tidying up last episode and the one who was lurking in the circus. Whoa, that is crazy. This could be completely unintentional, but the framing of this, the only two things in the frame, other than like Pomni walking towards the NPC, is Jax's face smashed up as a watermelon and the bucket that Zubul used to drench him with water. Oh god, what's coming? The framing of this is crazy. Now I'm so scared for where this is going because Pomni walking kind of away from these things, but they're in the forefront. So I wonder if whatever she's about to do is going to help in some way, or whether this is symbolic of her kind of leaving that behind in an I've done all I can do kind of way. I choose not to believe it's that because I can't, but this is so intentional. This framing. Where did he go? Jax? Wait, this all means so much. That is hilarious, the little bunny ears behind their heads, because obviously Jax, so it's so funny that she's doing it back to him. But, oh my god, I feel sick. I feel sick inside, because I commented on it, maybe because they made it obvious on purpose, but the vibrance of that scene was to contrast with this. I wonder if they picked beach episode specifically because of that, to go outside and show all these bright colours. I know the circus is bright as well, but there's just such a juxtaposition between being in the sunshine, being on the beach, in all, this bright light, and then someone's little room in just the darkness, in these grey muted colours. And this is so huge, not just because in these quiet moments, like, he is reaching out for the photo, but the fact that they're turned over, but he still has all of those photos there. This is what I mean by the cognitive dissonance and the walls up, because he cares maybe too much, and he can't quite, like, I think in order to pretend that he doesn't care, he can only really take that halfway. Like, he can't get rid of the photos, but he also can't look at them either. And maybe it's like a comfort knowing that they're still there, but the fact that he has them turned over and is not looking at them maybe makes him feel like he has control over the way that he's feeling. But the fact that, we don't know this for sure, but I think based on the sureness in reaching for one specifically and then kind of hesitating as he turned it over, I fully believe that he knew what was on the other side of that photo, meaning that he either looks at them often or they're so significant to him that he memorized or knows which photo is in which spot. Or maybe just this particular one, but I think he knew what he was reaching for, and he like braced himself before turning it over to fully look at it. And the fact that the smile on his face is real, like, I feel like his eyes just say everything. When the eyes are completely all big and, the same size and just looking like fake when he said, probably forget about you. Whereas this, the smile is big, but his eyes are a little more relaxed in it because, one, it's a photo. I feel like my smiles are very, very awkward in photos, but it was just like a natural little moment for them, having some yummy drinks. And the fact that he let it go. I thought he was gonna, turn it over and hold it, but he turned it over and just like left it as if he's planning on leaving it right side up. Maybe slowly but surely realizing that compartmentalizing and pushing down these things doesn't help. And so maybe he's turning that photo over. I wouldn't go quite so far, maybe as to say turning a new leaf, but I think turning that over is either one step closer to devastation or one step closer to feeling things normally, the good and the bad, and maybe this isolation, especially after what he had with Pomni. Maybe it's making him think fondly and like he wants to think about the good times. I'm in pain. I'm not well. Like, you can't tell me that the look on his face isn't like tearing you up inside. I feel sick. And again, the fact that he left it right side up and then turned away from it. I want to believe that's a good sign, because he could just as easily flip it back the other way and like close that door again. But he's left it, and instead, maybe it's too much to look at right now, but he is instead turning away. Maybe turning his, as he always does, turning his back. Maybe to hide what he's feeling. Maybe looking at himself in a truly happy moment. You could even think maybe he's hiding this like pitiful version of himself from his friends. He doesn't, in the state that he's in, he can't bear to look at it. And maybe in like a purely hypothetical sense doesn't want them to see him like this. I feel like I've just sat here and stared at this for so long. I'm thinking about so much. And I want to like believe the positive side of things, that maybe he's learning to let the good and the bad in and feel for real. Or maybe he's just at rock bottom, that he knows looking at the photo like it can't hurt him anymore. I don't choose to believe that, but just isolated alone in his room, so depressed. Or even that maybe he's left the photo up and turned away. It's like he's putting it behind him, like literally like leaving it behind him. I hope he dwells on it positively, but just the two people that he lost and he feels like are haunting him. And I can't. Whoever said this wasn't a character focused episode, you're going to be hearing from my lawyer. Fuck you. I didn't prepare myself for this. I should have. And I know things have to get bad before that they can get better in this kind of situation. Like, he can't just all of a sudden be like, hey, look, I'm happy again. Wee. But it hurts and I'm scared. Okay, I need to stop stalling. Let's continue. It's very dark. The wall. Mouse hole? What the fuck? No. That scared the shit out of me. What the fuck is that? And he looks so scared. What is that? He's like fixated on it. I don't know if he's scared or if he's like... What is he doing? Wait, I'm gonna need to... I'll come back and watch it, but I need to break this down. I'm not crying. I thought it was Kinga. Give me a minute. I think it was Jax. Maybe, I mean, they were insects. So I'm not being coherent. Let me start from... I thought it would make sense for everyone to have an adventure. I mean, Pomni didn't, but everybody else, I thought, chose an adventure in episode 5. And there were insects and there was a stargazing. I think it was Jax. I thought maybe we were at quota because he chose the president one and the animal, the safari one. But I said, oh, I wonder who chose this one, stargazing, and I just assumed Kinga. Because it seemed, I don't know, but that was one of the first moments we saw him kind of at peace, lying there just staring up at the stars. And what the fuck is on his ceiling of his room? Glow-in-the-dark stars. And there's like a star on the wall. I didn't expect that. And I guess you could consider maybe it was the opposite. Maybe that was such a nice moment that he like covered his roof in stars, but I highly, highly doubt it, because it seems like their rooms are pretty, generated, but also I doubt there's other stars, not just on the roof too, so I doubt he would just all of a sudden decorate his roof like, that was a nice adventure I had with Pomni, let's put those stars on the roof. And I was also about to say, why in this pitch black room? I get it's for animation purposes, but that's why I said those like muted grey colours, because I couldn't say him there in the pitch black because he can still see. I thought it was just, for our purposes, but truly, he's never fully in the dark then. I wonder if the dark is scary to him. in some way, or whether he just really enjoys stargazing. But when he first lay down on his bed and looking up at the stars, this gives me a whole new angle, because it's when he lay there on his bed looking straight up at those stars on the ceiling that he then reached over and flipped over the photo. And I want to believe that he was looking up and thinking maybe about the stargazing adventure with Pomni, which was when Ragatha let slip about the not anymore, and he thought about those friends and maybe also about Pomni, and then he reached over and flipped it over. What the fuck are you doing to me? This is not okay. I didn't expect that to be what sent me over the edge, but now I'm convinced that maybe it wasn't. Maybe Kinga did choose the adventure, but Jaxa loves stars, so that's why he was over stargazing. But the adventure was called Stargazing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have to believe that that was his suggestion now. But of course he wouldn't want anyone to know that. And especially usually he complains if the adventure's kind of like low-key, but he seemed much more at peace in that one. And it is the first time that we really saw him open up. I'm losing my fucking mind, guys. But also, I'm so sorry, what the fuck is happening here? And why would they show us the mirror? Like, they didn't have to do that, it could just be a wall. Why would they intentionally show us the stars on the roof? I have to believe that means something. But also, he looks terrified, but also maybe he's just like in a trance? Or like, is there a significance to the little like triangle cut out of the wall? These hands coming through, him seeing that, I don't know if it's just because it was a hallucination or whether there's something significant about, because it was no hands yet, just that hole, the triangle. No. I was about to say that him seeing that itself, like the little chunk out of the world, that's when we cut back to him and he's like an expression that we've never seen on him before, like not like that. And I was just about to say, I wonder if he knows what it is. Like, stuff is happening now. But I was gonna say, I wonder if he knew what that meant maybe. Like, maybe someone, like, told him about it and he, like, recognizes it. And then I thought, what if someone who has abstracted in the past or was on the path to abstracting told him about that? Like, what if they said, oh, like, I was seeing, you know, holes in the wall, and, I mean, it's not small enough to be, like, a trypophobia thing. So I was like, what if they mentioned something that they saw, and then the next day, or that was part of the build up to, or a sign of like abstraction. And I'm choosing not to believe that that is the case, because then what is happening right now, if that is? No. That's a reach. No. But what the fuck is this? I need to watch this again. Yeah, because he saw this and just freaked out, but that was before the hands. But now they're not even coming from inside what looks like a hole, but rather from outside of it and reaching around it. And we can't really tell because of the color scheme. But at first I thought it kind of has like a greenish tint maybe. I thought maybe it was Ribbit's hand, one of his friends. But, oh God, I can't. Everyone has different like structures. And so I know he only has like the 4 fingers. So I was thinking, is it himself? Is it like a ghostly extension of his own arms? And what the fuck is this? Because his eyes are still wide, but they kind of relax a moment, like in a way that maybe it's not a trance, but they're fully like wide in terror and then resigned. And he immediately, no hesitation, lifts his hand up to reach out to them too. And the glove starts melting away. Like, is this in his head or not? And what is this background noise? No. He's not abstracting, right? Because I don't know if it's the colour scheme or it kind of reminds me of what we saw of Kinga's wife, but also the eyes, those kind of colours. And I mean, maybe that's a reach, but when we see people who have abstracted, they are kind of like glitchy in the sense that they have those sharp edges, like triangular, like spikiness to them. The glove melted away and he touched it, and I don't know if it was, you know, a lost friend or whether it was his own arm. But yeah, the glove melted away, but also now he's not wearing any of his clothes, so it makes me think that all of his external, like, materials melted away. I need a minute. Okay, no. I think the fingers on that hand and like the wrist is different. I think that is Ribbit's hand because when I went back and looked at the photo, I couldn't really see the fingers because she was holding the mug, but it seemed like that very frog-like, you know, the wrist is bigger as it goes into the kind of, I mean, what would be the little froggy suction cuppy fingers, hence why they're kind of wider at the end and the wrist. I think it maybe is Ribbit, or not really, but is he choosing to go? And like the colours, yeah, you can really see the silhouette now, so I believe that is Ribbit's hand. But you see the sparks as soon as they touch, like her hand lights up and his is dark. His hand lights up and hers is dark. Then they both light up and both dark. Where is he going? And then it's like something takes over him and as it zooms in, it's like we're going inside his own mind. As the camera gets closer and closer into his eye and then we're in it. Please tell me we can come back from this. Well, not watching it isn't gonna change anything, so I guess I'm gonna watch. Don't go. At least it seems peaceful. Kaleidoscope. Stop. I need therapy. I mean, more so than usual. Because he was in that, like, trance. His facial expression not changing, and then all of a sudden we see it looking so sad and, like, wistful. And then we cut back to this, and it's clearly... It almost looks like, you know, blood cells or platelets, but you can see that it's Ribbit and Cosmo. Stop. Okay, hold on. Just having some hopium, let's say. I'm gonna choose to believe that, I don't know if this is true. I can't, and I don't believe this is the end. As much as I think if it happened and if he abstracted right now, I don't think it would be unfulfilling because it's thematically right. I mean, these things are never fulfilling and people are gone and you can't ask them why. You can't talk to them again and sort of figure out what they were going through, really. Like, it's just over with no closure. And that's real. But I think for the purposes of storytelling for the show, he's not done. There's more to do with him, with his character, thematically, or just, I don't think that we're done. Maybe again, I don't even know if this is abstracting, but if I was to think of, you know, what else could this be? I have to believe that's what this is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it happens in stages, or maybe this is not. Maybe he can be pulled out of it, and that's what I was going to say. My hopium is, I wonder if there's any part of him that would, like, yes, he's lost his friends, his dear friends, but I wonder if there's any part of him that would think of Pomni and want to stay. It's not like he could really be with Ribbit and Cosmo again, but maybe that's what abstraction is. Maybe it's this trance-like state. Maybe they're at peace. I mean, we saw Cosmo POV of him seeing, but maybe it wasn't really him. Maybe his body was kind of on autopilot in that abstracted state. Maybe he was seeing something like this. But I don't know if a significant impact was made for him to want to try to fight. And I mean, one thought I had from episode 1 when we saw Cosmo was all over his walls was like no escape or something, like no way out. And I took it as something malicious against Kane because he was there chasing him on the wall. But maybe that was more psychological of no way out. Maybe it's giving up or accepting that there's no way out. I don't know, but I can't believe that we're done. I can't. I'm hoping either he chooses to stay for himself, or maybe that's not what this is. Maybe I'm freaking out over nothing. I hope. But if it has to be anything, I hope Pomni's done enough to convince him to stay. I don't know. I'm not ready. Okay. And now he's there with them. No, don't join them, don't. I was right. He was about to cross some event horizon. Just now, he was about to cross it. And his eyes, he was abstracting. No. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about this. Please be Pomni. And I get, once he was in that trance, and he was kind of at peace, but now that he's back, he's almost like, I don't know, relieved? Like, am I back? Am I real? Maybe it's like when it's happening, you don't really know what's happening. You can't really fight it, even if you want to. I don't know if he would, but now that he's out of it, it almost seems like he remembered what happened. Like, you don't know what's happening when you're in it, but as soon as you're out of it, you're like, oh my god, am I still here? Kind of thing. Oh, please be Pomni at the door.
Way to interrupt my nap.
Can we talk?
Your what?
Yeah.
Ragatha came too. And I mean, I saw the NPC watching Jax, and obviously Pomni went after the NPC to talk, but I wonder at what point did they bring Ragatha into the loop and what this has to do with. But I mean, the fact that he got shaken out of that, I knew it was Pomni. But the fact that he was like, way to interrupt my nap, he didn't have to answer the door at all if he didn't want to. If he really wanted to fall back into that state, I think he could have. But there's a part of him, it's the same part that still put him, again, we saw him leave the beach and come to his room, so he wasn't, I don't think he was forced to be there, to stay there. He wanted, some part of him wanted to be there. Some part of him wants to be part of all of this, but, you know, there's so much baggage. And so he could have chosen to not answer the door. But part of him is still holding on, I think. And it's just so interesting that Pomni and Jax's doors are opposite each other, and that the parallel of Pomni's little sad face on her door and seeing her standing here in the flesh, like the real version of her, I think that's so interesting because it's like right in front of our eyes is, you know, what this place wants you to be, maybe, or I don't know, but what you really are, kind of a separation of self. I don't know. I don't know if that's making sense. It's making sense in my head, but it's interesting. And again, this shot could have just been focused on the little sliver of him poking out and the wood of the door, but seeing his little persona on the door and himself there, I think it's very poignant. And the way his eyes are, I mean, he's still very shaken clearly, but they're also kind of quivering, like indecision in that moment. Maybe part of him wanting to just shut the door and let it end, but part of him, I don't know, I can't do this, I can't do this. He's still here. Okay, I was moving on, but I'm not. The way that he can't even look at her, or whoever it is, really. Like, he's opened the door and he's not looking at whatever's happening. And then he hears Pomni say, can we talk? And I don't know if it's because of what they went through last episode and the way he treated her. And I don't know, the fact that she's here now either means to him that something is wrong, like something important has happened because she's here asking to talk. Or maybe in this little moment, his brow furrowed, his eyes just like the indecision boring on his face, or I don't know, maybe even hope. Maybe something beneath the surface, but it's almost like Pomni showing up here is that kind of second chance. But the fact that, yeah, as soon as she speaks, as soon as he hears her voice, it's like door opens a little wider and he's looking right at her. She's like, can we talk? And I can't, my heart. Okay.
Way to interrupt my nap.
Can we talk?
Your what?
Yeah. He's not actually an NPC. He's a human. Like us.
Yes, I know. Getting stuck with a blank mannequin body of all things.
In episode 1, I think, when I didn't really know what was what, I was like, are the mannequins also, you know, people, or are they just, you know, are they empty rooms, or are they placeholder rooms, or Are they people who have abstracted but have then kind of been erased completely? Maybe no one remembers them, so even the cross is gone from the door and they're just, I don't know. But did I mention it? I either mentioned it or thought it, but I was like, I think we'd only seen one door with a mannequin on it at first. And I was like, I wonder if that's just someone who is either not awake yet or maybe the circus hasn't decided who they are yet, something like that. And I obviously didn't have context for the rest of the show, I was just speculating, but I wonder what that means in terms of archetypes, whether it means that Kane is really starting to lose it to the point where, I mean, I don't know how much of their designs are him. I know that the whole tail thing and the morphing them on adventures, it's a whole other discussion. But I wonder if it's something to do with the way Kane's, whatever's going on, that this happened, or whether it says something about this person, whether they're a blank slate or I don't know, but very interesting. I mean, you could even draw this back to our episode 2 discussions of what is a person. If a character like Gummy Goo, who is an actual AI or an AI informed intelligence, like is actively taking on these human interactions around them and is, I guess in their sense, breaking the fourth wall, like he was learning he wasn't even real kind of thing. And that whole discussion around what is an NPC, like if Gummy Goo as a character like really cared about his friends, like the fact that he didn't tell them, or like he's like, I don't want them to know about this. Like, I don't want them to break in the way I have kind of thing. He wanted them to stay in the dark and still just be them, be happy. That was a very human choice to make, and it spurred on so many discussions in the episode, like in my discussion and also in the comments with you guys about, you know, is especially in this digital world where they're all made up of code, they're all in this game, just because some of them used to be humans and some started from code, right here and right now, is there that much difference between them? Is one of their pain any less real than the other? It's, you know, this concept of what is human and what does it mean to be real, or, you know, to be worthy of existence kind of thing. And there's just so much interesting stuff going on, but also the fact that Pomni and then Jax and I can't.
With a blank mannequin body of all things, Kane completely overlooked me. But because of this, I was able to, I think I found the way to leave.
The way to leave?
Yes, the way to leave the circus and get back to the real world.
Yes.
Scratch that. I don't trust him. Look, I understand that he's been watching and observing. We saw that at the end of episode 5. We saw him like sweeping at the end of last episode in the, you know, the favorite character awards. He's very clearly been observing and watching. So the fact that he knows these things isn't too much of a surprise. But he speaks with such certainty, such knowledge, speaking as if he's bested Kane. Like, I guess Kane didn't notice me. But did he hear any conversations specifically around Kane's attitudes towards NPCs? Like, why would he think or know that, I mean, I guess if he saw at the favorite character awards and stuff, all of the NPC mannequins anyway, maybe he saw the way that Kane treats them as NPCs, I don't know. The way he speaks with such confidence and like, I don't know, maybe it's the, not accent, but the way he speaks, maybe it's not, maybe I'm projecting, but it sounds a little bit pompous. But also, maybe I'm reading into it, he doesn't speak like a human. Or at least not one I want to know. He's like, a blank mannequin body of all things. Kane completely overlooked me. But because of this, it's so stilted. But just because Kane overlooked him, why would that mean he knows how to escape a way out? But also, he's acting like he has no fear of Kane at all, and maybe he doesn't. But also, then why was he hiding? Because if he's like, Kane completely overlooked me, I feel like there's been plenty of moments where he could have, you know, mentioned to one of the gang. And I know he said, oh, maybe we won't be able to tell the difference between human characters and NPCs. But this guy doesn't know about that conversation unless he's been here. Maybe he's been here the entire time and observing all these interactions, in which case he's justified in obviously knowing that Kane will pop him like a balloon if he thinks he is an NPC. But I don't know if he could actually do that if he's a real human, right? But at the same time, I don't know, I think it's very convenient that the one day that Kane is not here, that he's kind of gone AWOL. Maybe that's perfect timing, maybe that's why the NPC is like, we've got to make a run for it now. But we don't know how long he's been here. I cannot believe that that there is a way out in the way he's thinking. Especially after everyone's been here for so long. But maybe because he's an NPC, because he's a mannequin, and he was able to be overlooked, maybe he's seen things that he shouldn't, kind of thing. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt in that regard, but something about the way he talks has my spidey sense tingling. My hackles are up. I'm on guard. I'm on the defensive. I don't know, there's just something too convenient about it. Unless Kane's up to some bullshit. I don't know, because he talks in that way, like, but because of this, it's not a natural cadence. I don't know. I've got my eye on him. But last thing I'll say here is I find it so interesting. I don't know if they've told the others yet, but it's so interesting that after discovering this, Pomni went to Jax. Maybe she thought it would give him hope. Or maybe, I don't know, but, I'm not ready for this.
I was able to, well, I think I found the way to leave.
The way
Hold
to
on.
leave.
Yes, the way to leave the circus and get back to the real world.
Yes, but please, keep it discreet. If Kane catches on, I doubt he'll ever let us get this far again.
That's why we came to you. We thought you might have a key to the Chinese room.
The Chinese room?
I can't even, oh god, I'm going to spend 10 minutes on this frame alone, so I'm not going to, but just the look on his face at the possibility of, like, the way to leave. The disbelief, but maybe I don't know, especially after what just happened to him. Isn't that, in a sense, a way to leave? Maybe he's thinking about that. I choose to believe that little preview of abstraction, I mean, I know we saw it last episode, and then this episode, slowly but surely, I choose to believe this is being shown so that we can get him back, so that we can break out of it and not be another cautionary tale. I have a lot to say, maybe. Yes, maybe, because obviously they're showing all these shots of Kane's eyes in the paintings, which we've known about, and saying, you know, if Kane catches on, I don't know if he'll let us get this far again. What does that mean? And this could be entirely reading into something that's not there, but how long has the mannequin been here? And how many people has he tried this with? For him to say, if Kane catches on, I doubt we'll be able to get this far again. This far? Did he talk to anyone else? Has he tried this little scheme with other people? I say scheme, I know that's, you know, being a bit distrustful, but something just doesn't sit right about this with me. And the way he's talking, it just feels like he has an unearned confidence. I don't know. I'd be careful. I'm wary of this guy. A key to the Chinese room.
The Chinese room?
Yes, we're gonna need a place to talk without Kane listening in on us. I have a working theory that Kane will commit to a bit no matter what. And if the bit is to not know what's in the Chinese room, he'll stick to it.
I guess I'll check. These are all the keys I have where I don't know what they go to.
Wait, don't you want to come with us? This could be our one chance to finally leave all this behind.
Sure, why not?
This is the thing, I'm gonna scream. Oh my god. I swear to god, I'm gonna cut this out because it's just dead air. But I sat here probably for about like 3 to 5 minutes just staring at the screen, dissociating from it. But this is what, it's so tender. Just the olive branch and I feel like he can barely look her in the eye after last episode, but just one word from her is enough to make him stop. And like same with the door, he agreed to hear her out, and then now that he's trying to shut everyone out again, she's coming after him, and wait, and he pauses, and again, he's got free will, baby. He could just shut that door. And I think that he thinks he wants to, but in reality, he wants something to believe in, he wants something to hold on for, to wait for, someone to hold on to him, and I don't know, care enough to I can't. And again, he didn't have to agree to go with them. I don't know, even just the simple way she says, don't you want to come with us? Like, including him once again. I can't talk about this anymore.
Sure, why not?
Where's Kinga?
Where even is Kane? He might be suspicious of us even being here.
True.
He's probably in his office, planning adventures.
How do we even know we can trust this guy? Has he done anything to prove he's human?
Whoa. Oh, I mean, thanks for the assist there, Jax, because my thoughts exactly. How do we know we can even trust this guy? I was going to say, how does he know about Kane's office? But, I mean, I know in the fast food episode, Gangle gets summoned there, but that one was more... I wonder if that was his actual office, or whether that was one rendition of it for the fast food episode, like the upper management office, the executives. office? If so, then maybe, but that's the thing. Is it just that Kane said he's going to his office before to plan adventures? Or does this guy know something that he shouldn't? Specifically, he's probably in his office planning adventures. One, that's pretty unstable. As in, if that was the only assumption, I'd be like, I'm not risking, trying to escape right now. He could show up at any moment. What do you mean he's probably in his office? That's it? You don't have any further info than that? This unearned confidence, I don't know, it's something shady.
Even know we can trust this guy. Has he done anything to prove he's human?
I've been here longer than any of you.
Knew it.
I, helped create this place. I'll explain more when we're in the room, but for now, please just trust me. You will not regret it.
Reach of the century, but is that Abel? Hear me out. My instant distrust of him, the unearned confidence, the way he speaks in that, but because of this, in this grandiose way, reminded me of Kane a little bit. And him saying, I've been here longer than any of you, yes, that fills in a lot of the gaps, a lot of the blanks about why he would know all these things. But if he was a human like the rest of them, how did he help create this place? Because I used to think that Kane was, I don't know, either one of the developers or maybe he is like an AI version of a real life person, like made a little AI persona of yourself as the ringmaster of the circus. And then that AI kind of left without maybe any further developments is kind of trapped in their own little cycle of, I don't know, broken code. But if it's a CNA company, maybe if Kane is AI, personification of maybe a real life person, but in code, maybe he's unfinished. I mean, maybe that would explain why, like looking at the photos of the CNA facility, maybe there's part of him that feels connected to that. And maybe that's partly why he seems to try and connect with the human players. Maybe he's just trying to understand because maybe he feels like a person to him, but it's only because he was programmed to. I don't know. This is such a reach. I mean, there's things there, but I don't know. I'm just trying to, because if he was a human just as an NPC or like just as a mannequin, and it's been that way this whole time, it makes me think, how has he gone undetected this whole time? Maybe he comes in and out. I don't know. I'm completely clutching at straws here. Because even thinking about the sharks, maybe it meant nothing, but the whole, like, I'm the one that tells lies, only for him to go, dude, you ruined it. I don't know. I don't trust this man. There is no one that I trust less than someone who says, please, you just have to trust me. You will not regret it. Because that kind of makes me think I'm going to regret it. And it also makes me think if he's been here as long as he has, as long as he says he has, and that we'll never be able to get this far again. How far have you gotten before? And with who? I don't know about that. And he's so sure that he knows who Kane is, that I know enough to think that if there's a bit, he's going to commit fully to that bit and not break from it, so he's not going to go in the room. Again, that's a pretty, maybe educated guess, but lofty assumption. It seems like a huge risk if you don't know for sure. I'm just very dubious. So many keys.
Am I doing this wrong? None of these even fit in the keyhole.
Has anybody even tried just...
Oh, thank God.
Okay, well, it's open. Let's just get inside before Kane sees us.
CNA produced the artificial Chinese dictionary. Yep, English to Chinese and Chinese to English computerized edition. This poor guy. But again, this is another, I guess, NPC that he's employed to do this. But I just...
Okay, well, it's open. Let's just get inside before Kane sees us.
I'll go get Kinger.
We can fill him in later. I don't really know if I'm, ready to face him again after what happened.
Did he have some hand in Queenie's abstraction? Or did he, I don't know, maybe lead her or them to believe that there was an escape and it ended up with her abstracting? I only think that because when he said that thing about not being able to get this far again, it showed Queenie's door. But now this, of not being able to face King, but also that means, what, you're going to let him stay here? That's very selfish. That just because you can't bear to face him, you're not going to bring him in the loop? He's speaking like a grifter. And I don't know, his voice, the cadence with which he speaks, sounds exactly like from the Community episode with the grifter, the guy running like Grifting 101. It's that kind of cadence, and that's what makes me not trust him, first of all. But after what happened? But also, now that like the guy in the room was this shade of, because some of the mannequins are like different colors and stuff, but it looked identical to this guy. So I'm like, this is what I mean. Is he coming in and out? I can't imagine he's just skated by all this time not being noticed in this NPC body. Is whoever this is, or whatever this is, I mean, maybe this is also just code. Obviously it all is, they're in a game. But is something, because they specifically, I feel like they specifically showed us that NPC in the Chinese room to show that him and this guy look identical. They just look like, you know, the blank mannequins. I don't know, I just have a hard time believing a fucking word out of this guy's mouth.
What happened? We've both done things we're not proud of.
All right. Convince me.
I'm one of the original programmers of the digital circus. I was part of a team of experts employed by C&A to bring this place to life.
Okay, maybe this is not kind of me, but I am going into this with the assumption that he is a little lying liar who lies. So maybe that's just me, but I'm picking apart what he's saying, and I wonder if he's saying things that have a shred of truth to them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not Abel, and it is just one of the developers. But if I were him or a partner to Kane, I wouldn't want to let it on who I was exactly. I would give crumbs of truth to give myself credence, like, you know, literary device of appealing to expert evidence or appealing to, you know, professional authority in a way. Maybe it's true. I just don't trust him. And especially the way it's like he tried to pretend like he was one of them at first. He's like, I know, to be spawned in with just like a blank body. Oh dearie me. Well, it sounds like you would know about that. And also, if he was behind creating this, I would immediately be questioning him, like, what is this? Why are we stuck here? What have you done? Kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like he's presenting himself as this savior, and maybe they're all desperate to kind of know. But I'm with Jax on this. I'm like, convince me, because you're not so far.
Bring this place to life. Kinger was one of my co-workers.
And that's the thing. I don't know whether I believe him or not, because it could be true. It could be true. But I feel like when Kinger has his moments of lucidity, like in the horror episode, when he was talking about how he was in computer science and everything, maybe he just didn't want anyone to see him that way. I feel like he might have mentioned that he worked on this game. I mean, I guess if that is true, it makes sense why Kinger and his wife both ended up here. Maybe it was a co-op situation, but I feel like he would have mentioned that. Or maybe he is so far gone that he can't access those parts of himself anymore. But then what was the thing that happened between them after what happened? I don't know.
Still.
Back when he was still
Really
what?
think Kinger worked with him?
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
I can see it.
Well, as production went on...
Maybe I'm being too nitpicky, but that felt so performative to me, because look at this motherfucker. That pencil cup is nowhere near his hand. When Pomni and Ragatha were both kind of looking at each other, it's like, whoops, sorry, it's been knocked over. And then he quickly shoves it to the side and all the papers go scattering. And some papers fall off the desk, which, I mean, maybe he's trying to hide certain pages, which I doubt, because it's not like any of them are currently consulting the artificial Chinese dictionary. But the minute that was said, it's almost like, I mean, maybe he knows Kinger enough to know what would instill confidence in them that maybe they're alike. But that felt so forced. Like, do you really think they work together? Whoops, oh, sorry. Like, why was your hand out here? What's going on?
Well, as production went on, the higher-ups at C&A started getting untrustworthy. They began forcibly hooking my fellow co-workers up to the computer in special stasis pods that would keep them alive and analyze their brains. Just awful stuff.
I'm gonna shoot you down and say none of us are CNA employees. How would we have gotten hooked up to this big machine just by putting on a headset?
That's what I wondered as well. But then I remembered that C&A was planning on expanding development.
I don't know. Maybe he's just shooting himself in the foot with the way he's speaking, but he's like, my fellow co-workers were being hooked up to these machines forcibly and kept alive. I don't know, it sounds so forced, and then he's like, awful stuff. I'm not convinced. I don't know. I don't fucking trust you, dog. I don't trust you. And Jack's coming in as, I mean, thank goodness for his distrust, because maybe the others are just desperate for this to be true. But so true. Like, I don't see any of us being CNA employees. I mean, maybe Kinga, but I don't know. It's possible, but I don't think that proves what this guy thinks it proves. But yeah, the expansion would make sense if they were expanding the headsets, but the fact that this guy knows all of this and clearly wasn't hooked up to one of those stasis pods, he was outside of it long enough to see all this happening, to see, maybe not see the expansion because he said, I heard they were planning. That's the thing, he talks so, I don't know, rehearsed, but not in a convincing way. Pretending you're on the same level as someone just to convince them, like Jack's coming out with a reasonable thing, like how would we get hooked up just by putting on a headset? Because they clearly remember just putting on a normal headset, or a headset, maybe not normal, but they remember putting on the headset. Like, how would we get hooked up to this huge thing? And also, if that was the case, then where is everyone else, unless they all abstracted? But for this guy to then go, that's what I wondered as well. I'm just like you, I didn't know what was going on kind of thing. But then I remembered that I actually do know probably what happened. And I'm like, if this happened to me, I wouldn't be like, oh, I wonder how this could have happened. Wait, I remember this huge plan of them wanting to expand it. Maybe that could be no fucking shit. That'd be my first thought. What do you mean? It sounds like he's, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to get to the end of this and I'm going to look silly because he was telling the truth the whole time and I was just out here with trust issues, which is fine. But I don't know, I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him, which is probably pretty far because he's just a mannequin. So I need to trust myself and Jax.
Last I remember, I was asking too many questions, and then poof, I was here. They're probably doing the same to anyone that stumbles into that office. Kane is an AI.
Yeah, I think we all got that.
An AI specifically created to keep your minds active. But he's just as much of a prisoner as you are. One that, won't be able to leave with us.
Just get to the meat and tell us.
Whether it's sincere or not, the concern shown for Kane just now, like, it could be false concern of like, unfortunately, he won't be able to leave with us. Or it could be genuine but again, because I don't trust this guy, this is the first time I'm questioning whether Kane really is an AI. Because him saying Kane is an AI, like it's this huge revelation, makes me think, well, is it partly true? Is he AI based on someone or something? And the way he's talking about Kane, the way he's like, he's AI, he cut Subal off as well, just now. And so was like, I think we all know that. An AI to keep your minds active. Which, yes, I guess the adventures, but I mean, I guess he has kind of set him up as a sympathetic character saying, he's just as much of a prisoner as the rest of you. But, he won't be able to leave. Why would you want him to? It makes me question a lot of things. I don't know. All I know is I don't trust this guy. Got my fucking eyes on him. But also the way that he said, oh, you know, I was asking too many questions, and then poof, here I am. That all the more makes me think, then why did you need to think about it and then be like, they did want to expand. Oh, maybe that's why all of us are, like, you'd be knowing this shit. You'd know that you got too close to it. I think you'd come out with that right away, like, hey, I worked for these guys. They're up to no good. Let's work together, kind of thing. But it feels more like he's trying to pull one over on our group here rather than work together with them. And I don't like that.
Just get to the meat and tell us exactly how we're gonna leave if we're all hooked up to stasis pods.
Yes, of course. So, I did some digging. And I discovered that the stasis pods and the virtual world are both run in the same program. So, theoretically, if we were to access the master console hidden deep within Kane's office, we could terminate it and forcibly awaken everyone who's hooked up. Well, obviously, except for Kane.
That was extremely specific wording. It wasn't, freeing everyone, but as I said that Kane is an AI, he will unfortunately not be able to join us, given that he is code. He specifically said, forcibly awaken everyone who is hooked up, well, except for Kane. He wouldn't even be one of the options. They wouldn't even think that. What are you talking about? But also the way he cut Subal off just really irked me. Okay, I'm gonna go through and read all of this, but he sounds like he's just bullshitting, like waffling to try and get them to go along with it. He said, I found out that the stasis pods and the virtual world are run in the same program. Well, yeah, if you were one of the developers, wouldn't you know that? If you know that people were hooked up to, those stasis pods and they were sucked into the virtual world, no shit, they're connected. He sounds like he's just talking out of his ass to sound professional. And the way Subal called him out and he was like, yes, of course, pulls out this detailed thing. He's talking like he's just discovering things. Like, I've realized this and this. Yeah, it looks like even this. It looks like he's trying to make it look all professional. He's like bolted pressurized chamber. I mean, well, yeah. Oxygen-rich gas mixture, psychoactive compound, nutrient vehicle, or depressurized cardiovascular mechanism. Like, he's just using words. And I would probably assume a lot of these things. Like, yeah, if they're hooked up, they're going to have like oxygen, nutrients, maybe something to keep them in a trance. Like, that makes sense. But I don't know, it's giving very conspiracy board, like he's trying to look like an expert on this subject, but also not. Like, I've uncovered all these things with investigative journalism, but also put some distance between it and himself. Unknown number of stasis pods. And what the fuck does that mean? Circus lobby. Is this the only construct connected to the stasis pods? What do you mean? Because this is the circus lobby, right? They've got that little sitting area, the tower, that balcony that goes around the outside, and then their dorms right through that hallway. But this is the circus lobby. What do you mean, is this the only construct? They were just at the beach. What does that mean then, if it's just the circus? What the fuck is this guy on about? Is the headset a means of audio-visual stimulation for virtual world? This is what I mean. It's saying the obvious, like these basic things, in as complicated words as possible, in a way to make it look like it's this intricate thing, which makes me think this guy is either, pretending like he doesn't know everything and that he's just theorizing, or he doesn't know as much as he's letting on. But I don't trust what Kane's attention must be divided. Administration pass, Kane's office key. Administration zone. Admin pass grants user permissions. Yeah, no shit. Master console, Kane's office. Administrator entries and activity centered around hot air balloon. Where is the hot air balloon? Entrance. What the fuck does that say? Disabling something in red. Trigger emergency release for lucid human subjects. And then it says current lucid human subjects. There was a 7 there, and it's scratched out. Current abstracted human subjects, ? So they're either lucid or abstracted. Was that 7 crossed out after Kaufmo abstracted? But why is it crossed out right now? Wouldn't you replace it with a 6 if it was no longer 7? I'm questioning this guy so heavily. This is the thing. Permeable collision gap. Okay. Administrative access point. What the fuck is a bee doing on this paper? A little bee, like Kane draws. The fuck is it doing on here? And what's crossed out there? Okay, so I can read the red text. I'm about to get to something fucking crazy, but reading the red text, it says disabling CNA intranet, which does imply like the intranet access, that it's within CNA. I can't imagine they all went to the CNA office, but disabling CNA intranet will only trigger emergency release for lucid human subjects. I don't know if Kinger and Jax are going to go for this. I don't know if any of them will. If it means, I guess that they believe the abstracted people are gone, but they would be leaving them trapped here forever. And then we see, in an effort to rub it out, kind of with the B as well, it looks like it's been half erased but then crossed out. At the bottom, it says old CNA co-workers. King is on there, not crossed out because he's not abstracted. The fuck is that name in the bottom right? It says Kaufmo. What the fuck? I don't know. If he's telling the truth in any aspect. The B is either there because, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I do not trust this guy. But also, if he's just one of the developers, how does he know that the master console can be disabled and it's within Kane's office? I don't know. There is far too much being unsaid here, and I feel like he's just putting on this bravado and just, what's it called? Gish galloping. Like, just trying to talk and talk and talk, hoping you won't call him out on his bullshit and that you kind of think he's making sense, but there's a lot that he's hiding.
Forcibly awaken everyone who's hooked up. Well,
that's a lie. It says it right there, forcibly release everyone who's hooked up. That's not true. It literally says that if you do that, it will only release lucid subjects. Whereas the abstracted people, their bodies are still there. If he's telling the truth about the whole stasis pods and everything, their bodies are still there. They're still hooked up, they're just abstracted. And that the emergency thing, it's only going to release the people who are lucid. He says everyone hooked up will be released. And that's not true.
Obviously, except for Kane.
How do we get into Kane's office?
We'll need to steal the key from Kane, and we'll also need administrator privileges. I believe you're good at obtaining keys.
Okay, you know what's gonna happen when we do all this? Kane's gonna pop out and say, "Congratulations on beating the Escape the Circus adventure," and everything's gonna go back to the way it always was.
I've been watching you. All of you. Every trial, every moment of joy, every abstraction. I wish I could have come to you sooner, but I didn't want to potentially ruin our only chance at escape.
Bullshit.
By telling you before I knew exactly how we were gonna do it.
Bullshit.
I'm not a creation of Kane. I've suffered just as much as the rest of you.
Bullshit.
I know this all sounds crazy, but if you follow me, you will see freedom. I'll also draw a face on myself, so you can tell me apart from any other blank NPCs.
Rewind the tape.
So you can tell me apart from any other blank NPCs.
I corrected something I said earlier, and I think maybe he's just uncorrected it. When they were in the hallway first talking, when he was first saying, you know, I'm a human just like you, and I was talking about it, and I mentioned, you know, other NPCs who look similar to him. And I said something like, any of the other NPCs, something like that, and then corrected it. And I'm like, well, him being in this mannequin body, because he's not one of the other NPCs. And then he just said, I'm going to draw a face on myself so that you can distinguish me from any of the other blank NPCs. Now, what do you mean by that? And I know I have a tendency to analyze and look for patterns and things, so maybe it genuinely just was the word choice. Or maybe it was a slip of the tongue, because he clearly doesn't have ownership of this body. Like, he doesn't feel connected to it. He's like, oh, so you can recognize me between this and the other blank NPCs, like me, kind of thing. But also, I don't know, this is what I mean. Pomni usually sees straight through the bullshit, but she also likes to trust people and look for the best in them. This is what I was saying about Jax. She doesn't take people at their worst actions, and she tries to give the benefit of the doubt and everything. And I don't know whether it's just the desperation and the hope that there is a way out of this, but I mean, maybe she's right. This is the one time that her and I aren't syncing up, but that's because I'm looking from the outside. And she, in this, is probably so desperate to have hope, to believe that there's a way out of this, that she's not thinking clearly about it, or from a bird's eye view, literally. And also, they didn't get a close look at the fucking diagram shit like I just did. But I don't know, maybe, I don't know how many times he's tried this, but the first time we ever see him, he's watching Pomni. I wonder if he thinks that someone like Pomni is capable of swaying the group, maybe, or if he can win her over, maybe everyone will believe. Because I reckon if he came here without Pomni, and he singled her out as well, he called her over, convinces her, and then she talks to everyone, kind of thing. But I reckon Jax and Zubul are already skeptical. Kinga wouldn't go for it. Well, he probably wouldn't be included. Ragatha might maybe believe, but not necessarily be bold enough to go along with it. And I don't know what Gangle would do. But I think he needs someone like Pomni. That's the thing, saying, I'm not a creation of Kane, I've suffered as much as the rest of you, trying to put himself on their level and like one of them. And I think that just really disgusted Jax, because I don't know, you don't know how much we've suffered, especially if he's just been there watching from the sidelines. I've suffered as much as you, and Jax is just, he then grimaces even further, like, I'm not fucking fooled by this. But also he said, if you follow me, you will see freedom. He didn't say you'll get out of the circus, just that you'll see freedom. I don't know if he's intentionally choosing his words, but this makes me so sad though, seeing Jax happy again.
Oh, what should we call you? Do you have a name?
I do. My name is Abel.
Well, I bet if some of you guys, maybe on your first watch, I don't know if you trusted him, but I bet if any of you did trust him, you didn't now. After that. An interesting name. Or if not literally Cain and Abel, like their literal names, maybe to developers, you know, their partnership resembles a brotherly, you know, I don't know, with some betrayal happening. But I feel like usually Cain is the betrayer. From what I know of like the Cain and Abel story, again, everyone knows it. Not everyone, but I feel like in the cultural lexicon, it's pretty well known that, you know, Cain was jealous of something, killed Abel, and then was exiled, kind of thing. That's the gist. From what I remember, it was, because from so many shows like Lucifer, from Has Been, like so many shows play around with not only biblical mythology, but also, you know, these common, it's shorthand for character writing really, but can be in a good way, in a creative way, because people are aware of this dynamic and you can do a lot of fun things with it and mix it up. But from what I remember, it was like Cain was jealous that Abel was better or had more, did a better job, and Cain was jealous of that, and so he killed Abel. So I don't know if oh god, I'm talking in circles, but I don't trust this guy. You motherfucker. They all clearly know that means something.
Like, is that the name you picked? Or...
Yeah, I thought it would be cool. But anyway, first things first. We need to get that key.
The smile makes him more menacing.
In order to get the key, you're going to need to isolate Cain. Try getting him alone. Someplace where he'll feel comfortable confiding in you.
Hey, Cain, you around?
Oh, hey, Jax. I didn't know you could ask if I was around like that. Good job.
You wanna get dinner together?
Gasp! A human wanting to hang out with me? How could I possibly turn down such an offer?
So, where you wanna...
So, Jax, what you want to talk about, friendo? Wait, Jax! I wanted to ask you about the adventures. What do you think I should do to make them more appealing to the Zooble and the Pomni?
I think
We should figure out what to order first. Conversation can happen after we've loaded up on digital nutrients.
Then you're going to want to ask him about his hobbies. Odds are he'll get so excited that you care about him, he'll freeze up, and you'll be able to grab the key from inside his mouth.
Inside where?
What are your thoughts on cedar smoked salmon? I cedar smoked salmon, but I hardly know her smoked salmon.
Do you have any secret hobbies?
Secret hobbies?
Yeah, like things you do on your own that you'd be interested in talking about.
Why, I didn't think a human would ever want to ask me about my... This is the most phantasmical moment of my...
Oh.
What you doing there, Jack?
Fuck.
Have I ever told you how it's my dream to get eaten by you?
That's a weird thing to say and want.
No! We're not bringing Vor into this, you filthy, dirty people. We're not doing it. But also, I can't help but think this is intentional. Obviously, we see a lot of nasty sides to Cain. Maybe not necessarily because he's being malicious, but just because of who or what he is. But just after saying, oh, by the way, Cain's imprisoned here, just like you, technically, and yet, unfortunately, he won't be able to leave. This is when they dial up the sympathy towards him, and he's so happy that humans are showing interest in him. I feel like it's making you want to care about him so that he doesn't get left behind. And that's what I mean. If we go back to the sharks at the beginning, I'm the one that tells lies. I don't know, there's just too many parallels here to ignore, plus the name Abel. What am I supposed to do with that, if not this? Okay, I'm back after a little interlude. Needed to freshen my beverage, get some tea and bickies. But also, it was exactly halfway. So I was like, this is a good stopping point. I know I'm going to be filming for hours and hours. Let me get some shit done in the meantime. And I guess thematically kind of a good stopping point, ending with Jax's fist down Cain's throat. But also I've been thinking while I was doing some errands and listening to the Amazing Digital Circus fan songs on repeat, Mask is just so catchy. Why am I doing the dance to it in my kitchen while cleaning? It's a problem. But I've just been thinking more and more about how my trust issues, genuinely, because as much as I feel like I've been fair. I've been very distrustful of the situation whilst also giving the benefit of the doubt in some areas. That's so Pomni of me, actually. Taking things as they come at face value, but I'm going to try and see through bullshit where I can. But since we are dealing with such nebulous characters, as I said, we don't really know Cain at all. And who the fuck is Abel? I do not trust whatever he is. But I can't help but think that this is in some way a setup. Because Abel said earlier, I think when interrupting Zooble, that Cain is an AI, as if they didn't already know that. But also that he's there to keep their minds entertained. That's his purpose, right? I mean, I guess maybe there's no key. Maybe there is, but why would he know about it? I can't believe that he would know about it. But even if there is a key, maybe all he really needed was Kane distracted, and maybe none of them are going to be allowed to. I mean, I know that none of them are going to be allowed to escape. This is not episode 7 finale of the Amazing Digital Circus. I know they're not going to escape. And I don't think there was ever any chance of that. But even if there is a way to escape, I don't think that's his goal. I don't know what his goal is, but it could be to destroy Kane. And maybe maybe they did just need Kane distracted, because if his purpose is to entertain the human characters, then if they're keeping him distracted, I guess that's all he needed them for, is to keep Kane distracted, because I guess if he's engaged, he's not watching. I'm very sus about this, because I remember from episode 1 that Kane was, I think, eating at a similar restaurant. I think maybe the same one. It's when we first learned about the Wacky Watch. He was eating at that restaurant with Bubble, and I feel like he got some alert, or he knew about something happening even though he wasn't there. So I'm like, they need to keep this under wraps. I don't know, is it too easy if he knows about it? I don't know, because maybe they were trying to throw us off earlier when we were seeing all the paintings of him watching. Like, is that the illusion of being under constant surveillance, or is it less of an illusion? I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, but in case you can't tell, this whole thing is so fishy, but it could be fishy for a variety of reasons. I don't know. Let's get into it.
Your thing to say and want?
Rupert.
Do you really believe it?
He can hear you.
Everything he says?
I just want to know what Kinger thinks of all this.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
How much do you know about Kinger?
Huh? Oh, I probably know about as much as everybody else, but he's also helped me through some of my hardest times here. Is it weird to say I trust him the most out of everybody?
No, that's not weird at all.
Okay, first of all, I love this so much, because not only are they genuinely connecting and over both being helped by Kinger, of all things, but what did Ragatha just say? He helped me through some of my hardest times here, not hiding the negatives, admitting. I mean, of course we know that, but just so casually admitting, I've been through some hard times here and he was really helpful. This is such a moment of genuine connection. This is why I love Kinger, and I trust Kinger. I'm with Pomni on that, and Ragatha, I guess. I trust Kinger over whoever the fuck that is. We need to get Kinger in here stat. But also, I'm so relieved, because I was not worried, but I'm very distrustful of this, and I think the characters are maybe very desperate. I guess we are looking at this from the outside. So even if I call bullshit on something and Pomni doesn't, it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that we're not in sync. Why am I trying to justify why we are in sync? What I mean is, it's not necessarily Pomni not seeing through bullshit like she tends to do, because we're looking at it from the outside. We saw that weird fucking diagram thingy and all of the behind the scenes stuff with the red writing and the fucking bee. What was the bee doing there? I can't get over that. And I have thoughts about it. But anyway, if Pomni really did want to believe this, I wouldn't blame her at all. But this also does give me hope, saying, I just want to know what Kinger thinks, which makes me think she hasn't bought into it as much as she maybe wishes she did, or maybe, I don't know, I just think she's not sold on whatever is going on. I don't know if she's pretending to be, or whether just slowly she's sort of starting to disbelieve it. But yeah, I'm also concerned, like, he can hear them, right? They're like very close.
I had a similar experience, and I think he might know more about this place than he lets on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has been here longer than anyone else.
True.
I don't know.
He can hear them.
It's kind of strange that Abel isn't interested in him at all.
He can hear them.
Like I said, things between us are complicated. I would love to be able to work alongside him again. And you're right to think he has knowledge about this place. It's just, I made a promise.
What's going to happen?
Okay, what the fuck? That was so sus. I mean, he kind of walked ahead of them as if to give them some privacy, but obviously he could still hear them, and then he stops. And I don't know what the fuck's going on with him and Kinger, but I'm with Kinger, easily. And what was that? Why does he have personal belongings? Because I feel like if this guy is really who he says he is, but he's been lying from the start. Because initially he was trying to make it seem like he was just one of them who spawned in here. But if he really was a human in the body of an NPC who belonged here, who was permanently in the circus, surely that would be a known thing, because also didn't Pomni appear in front of everyone, or I don't know. But why does he have personal belongings? That would mean he also had a room, and I feel like this would be uncovered so quickly, but he's got a weird locket thing. I made a promise? The fuck is that? Why does he have personal belongings?
I would love to be able to work alongside him again.
Why
And
doesn't
you're
he
right.
want Kinga
I think
here?
He has knowledge about this place. It's just, I made a promise.
What's going to happen to the people in the cellar? Like Kofmo and
This could be a...
Ribbit.
Oh, Ribbit. This could be a potential moment of truth. Because, I mean, we saw the paper, especially since all of it was nonsense, I think. I mean, maybe there's... I don't know, I just feel like it was a lot of words saying fuck all. And with the Kofmo Kinga thing and the fucking bee. But if you think back to what was in red, that if the mainframe is pulled or whatever, the plug is pulled, all lucid characters will be released. Which I still don't buy into it. I don't know. I will treat it as if that's true for the purposes of the story, but I just can't imagine that they were all in like stasis pods. Wouldn't they remember where they put on the headset? I digress. But this is going to depend on how he answers. Because we know, based on the paper that he was clearly looking at, that he supposedly drafted up, it was in his back pocket. I mean, how did he have a pocket? He's a mannequin. Huh. Where did he keep the locket? I don't want to know. That's making me think. But anyway, for all intents and purposes, he knows that the people in the basement aren't coming with us. But whether that's what he says or not is gonna mean a lot, I think. Here goes nothing.
What's going to happen to the people in the cellar? Like Kofmo and Ribbit.
I don't know. But let's hope for the best, right?
Liar! You're a little lying liar who lies. Weasley little liar, dude. He can't keep getting away with it. Okay, well, if we didn't already know, I think that confirms his nefarious purposes. And also the little, like, look back with the menacing smile. I think the paneling of the wood really creates this menacing quality. The fact that it kind of, like, curves up like a devious grin. And the little side eye here, But, okay, we need to move along. But let me keep thinking on that.
And here we are, the Administrator Zone.
How did he know about this?
But like I was saying, this Macroverse place really intrigues me. And these photos are all I have of the location. I'm obsessed with them. I just wish I had more info on the location so I could accurately recreate it. Too bad they cut me off, right?
Yeah, what a shame.
They cut him off? I mean, first of all, those Polaroids calling it the Macroverse? And obviously it's the CNA facility that we saw in episode 1 with Pomni. And he's like talking about trying to recreate it better, but he has limited source of information and that they cut him off. He's not happy about that. But also, so I guess that confirms he was being fed information. I mean, I wonder to what point, whether or not things are still active or not, or whether he's just been cut off. But he was being fed outside information, I guess in an AI or even machine learning capacity, which would explain a lot of the breakdowns in his code and the bugs and the meltdowns, but they cut him off. Huh. Many thoughts on that. Lots of implications. I have so much to think about. We have to keep moving. But they cut him off. Very interesting.
Cut me off, right?
Yeah, what a shame.
So, what's your takeaway from all this?
What?
What's your takeaway from all this? Is it that I'm actually a cool guy with cool hobbies and not that much different from you beautiful humans?
Sure.
Wowee! I'm so glad we understand each other a little more. I really am trying my best to make you guys happy, and being appreciated for that just makes me want to celebrate by giving you guys anything you ask for. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Well,
This was
okay, I mean, first of all, there was a key. But how did Abel know about the... But also, I'm very concerned because I feel like there's been such an active effort in this episode in particular to make us sympathize with Kane, if we weren't already. And I mean, I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't. It's just that my feelings towards Gummigoo and the player characters who have been, a bit miserable, suffering, kind of supersedes that. Even if he doesn't have malicious intent, I think Kane's a big reason why a lot of them are suffering. As he said in one of the other episodes, like, any suffering is like accidental, like any good war criminal, something like that. And I was like, I mean, but then earlier in the episode, in the Chinese room, Abel said such cryptic things about, I don't know, it was almost trying to make, I don't know. I have so many conflicting thoughts, but he kept on emphasizing that Kane is a prisoner like all of you, but unfortunately he won't be coming with us. And then they've just shown him getting like emotional. I mean, this was so cute. The little wowee and like shedding a tear. And I guess he's being as emotional as he can in any capacity that something like Kane can. And doesn't that just warm your heart? I mean, that was so cute. And I'm concerned because it feels like they're really trying to make us like and sympathize with Kane. And that makes me think something bad is going to happen. I don't know in what capacity, but I mean, maybe Abel is out to destroy Kane, or maybe something else is going on. But there's something, I feel like they've very intentionally set us up to sympathize and really feel for Kane in this moment, and I don't like the implications of that for a number of reasons. Oh, it was cute though. But I guess we do have the floppy disk, the key now. But we'll keep watching. We'll process the thoughts.
How's that sound?
Sounds good. This was a nice dinner and everything, but could I go back to the circus? The gals and I were gonna do something which may or may not be a surprise for a special certain ringmaster we want to show our appreciation for.
Gasp! Say no more!
Whoa. I mean, I know he's an AI, but that was such a switch up. Going from gasp, click, blank expression, pull out the photo. What is happening? And just staring, like his eyes, either like, when they're darting around or quivering, just that look in his eyes as he's looking at this Polaroid, obviously of the CNA facility. But this is the thing, it's like the photos of it, from it being abandoned, is that them cutting him off? But then how are these Polaroids there? Or, I mean, I guess they're just code in Kane's brain, but all the drawers pulled out and like papers on the floor, clearly signifying maybe an abandoned building state. But I mean, I guess he's been sufficiently distracted. But I mean, if that is the case, then where was he for the rest of the day? And what's he going to be doing while he's not with them? Oh God.
How long is Jax gonna
Kinga.
take? I feel like we've been standing here for hours.
Is Kinga okay?
Should we tell Kinger what's happening?
Yeah.
I feel bad not including him in any of this.
Agreed.
We're supposed to follow Abel's instructions. It probably couldn't hurt to at least give him a warning, though.
Please.
Just to get him into the right headspace.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Hi, Gangle. Hi, Zubul. You
Oh,
startled
that's not them. Okay, I mean, he said, hi, Gangle, hi, Zubul, to the other one. I guess because I was going to say he's still in the dark, but I guess the flash of light as they open the thing scrambled the brain a little bit. But okay, phew, King is okay. It's fine. But also, that just makes me think what Abel was saying was even more of, a manipulation, because what does a manipulator do? Isolates you, or rather in this case, like what kind of instructions that are for all of their own good would literally leave their friend in the dark? It makes me think that Kinga knows something that could bring this whole thing crumbling down. I don't know. What happened with Kinga?
So, we may have discovered something you'll want to hear about.
We found a way to leave the circus. We're currently preparing everything, but we need to keep it quiet so Kane doesn't stop us.
Yeah, what she said.
Huh? Leave the circus? How would you... No, that doesn't make sense.
We met up with Abel. He says he was one of the original programmers, and he knows how to shut off the game and free us.
Who?
Oh, okay. That's kind of flipped some of my thoughts on their head because I don't trust a fucking word out of Abel's mouth. I was like, I mean, it's not like I disbelieved it, but I also wasn't fully convinced that Kinga was one of the original developers. But, multiple things to discuss there, because he said, leave the circus. That doesn't make any sense. Which is already one thing. I mean, cluing us in that he's pretty clued in or knows more than we think he does. But then mentioning Abel, and his eyes go wide, and I'm like, oh, he's exposed. And Kinga goes, who? Which, I mean, I was thinking after the reveal. I mean, this is, again, I'll take some things at face value for the sake of the storytelling and, you know, the journey it's trying to take us on. But it's the way it was announced, similar to how Abel was like, Cain is an AI. Like, yeah, we know. But then he stands up and turns around with this flash of light behind him and he's like, my name is Abel. Which is obviously the big reveal bit. Then when they asked, did you like choose that name? And he was all embarrassed, like, yeah, I don't know, it was just something's off. But the fact that Kinga is like, who? When they mentioned that it was supposed to be one of the original developers. The way he said that, in a very questioning way, makes me think that he does know the original developers. Because otherwise, how would he know if Abel's not who he says he is? But that sounded like who the fuck's impersonating one of the, what? I don't know that person. Making it seem like he should know them. Which makes me think maybe that was right all along. Maybe he had more of a part in developing it than he let on. Maybe it's been so long, or maybe because of how his mind has kind of gone a little cuckoo bananas, which I wonder if it's because of, I mean, Abel said they've both done things they're not proud of, but I just can't help but think that links to something to do with Kinga or the way that his mind has gone, or whether Abel has something to do with this. I don't know, there's a connection there, but because we don't really know much about Cain and Abel, and we don't really know much, like we know Kinga, but he's unpredictable because we don't know when he's going to be lucid. It's kind of hard to navigate and wade through it to find the truth. But I choose to trust Kinga above all. And if he's saying who, then I'm like, who? Who the fuck is that? Which I have been saying. But again, thoughts? I need more supporting evidence before I say anything though. Yeah. Again, interrupt at any time.
This conversation later.
Anytime there's about to be a breakthrough. Good. Give him a heads up. Something's off.
I am never doing anything for you guys ever again.
Where's Cain?
Worry not, my dear damsel. I think I stopped him from checking up on us for a while, so no need for your distraction anymore. You're welcome.
In other words, you just made us have to wait longer to do our job. Also, don't call me that.
What's the rush? You got someone waiting for you outside?
Don't you?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? That was such a raw moment from him. And this is what I mean. He, kind of like Ragatha, I know this was a rough start to the episode with the obstruction scare and everything, but like him putting on that facade with Cain, and then just now earlier, and then this moment of him looking the way that he looked and saying, yeah, in that way, was so raw. It feels like there's a balance now, a healthier balance, where he can access the facade, but letting it break down doesn't break him. Similar to, you know, Gangle not having to be happy all the time, wearing the tragedy mask, but still smiling. The duality, the balance is important, and we're seeing more of that with Ragatha, and I think with him too. Because even in front of both Zubul and Gangle, this raw moment, like I don't know if he would have tried to, but he can't just hide it anymore. But he can oscillate between, does that make sense? Maybe I'm just huffing that hopium, but I feel like, ironically, in the let's try leave the circus episode, I mean, not that he believes it, but he feels more like a real person right now than he has so far. But let's break this down a little bit, says me. Let's break this down a little bit. Like I don't do that every second of the episode. But actually, hold on. Okay, yeah, so I just watched it again, and I was first going to say, I mean, it was a raw moment. I mean, actually, I kind of should have known, but the way he poked fun at it, like, what, you got someone waiting for you on the outside? And Sue was like, well, yeah, don't you? And his expression, not only crumpled, but he looked crazed for a moment. Pupils darting around, eyebrows like wavering, his whole expression falling. only to look away. It's like he completely lost it in that moment. It's like he didn't even think about what he was saying. But then when it was turned back on him, at first I thought it was vulnerability and sadness. And I was like, wow, that's a rare moment from him to see that, especially in front of everyone. And instead of just deflecting, saying yeah. And the fact that he's 22 as well, or he was when he entered the circus, I thought, yeah, he must have people, maybe a parent or, I don't know, friends waiting for him on the outside. And maybe him thinking of them, knowing in his heart of hearts that none of this is going to happen. Maybe that made him like devastated for a moment. And then he turns and he looks down and away and just, I don't know. But then I thought about the fact that it almost looks like fear. And then about what he said. What, you got someone waiting for you on the outside? As if he doesn't. And then when he actually thought about it, he looks terrified. Maybe of not getting back to them, but what I think is maybe it's someone or some people, plural, that would be waiting for him on the outside that he doesn't want to see again. I don't know. It looked like when he said that to Zubul, it didn't even cross his mind to think about the people waiting for him, as if he was trying not to think about it, and then he just looks scared. And as I said earlier about his whole, issue with he dishes it out but he can't take it, and his hypersensitivity around certain things made me consider some potential options regarding trauma or even really, 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 really serious things like potential, I don't know, abuse or SA, stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's something underneath this moment. I don't know, I feel like so many of these scenes leave me with so many thoughts that I'm like, they're half baked and I need to think on them more and watch this scene a few more times. I already watched it a couple to get that expression, but it's just crazy. And then this shot of like looking down and away, but from behind this pillar or whatever, it's blocking the others, so it just leaves him looking so alone. Which makes me think either there is no one waiting for him on the outside and that was like, yeah, definitely, sure. Or there's people waiting out for him that he does not want to see again. Does he want to leave the circus as much as maybe he thinks he does? Oh.
So, how many administrator passes should I get?
6.
Yeah, 6.
6.
Are you sure? Giving Kinger access to the main console could be dangerous, considering his mental state.
Will it be dark in there?
I suppose it will be somewhat dim.
Bring him along then.
Yes. I want us all to have one.
All right. If you say so.
Is Ragatha
Dark? I think I get it now.
I was wondering if she'd put the pieces together because Pomni even kind of asked the same thing, like, whoa, you're really hit or miss sometimes, before he explains that in the dark he can think better. So last episode when Ragatha was like, very similar thing. Sometimes you really just get what's going on. And now she's finally figured out it's because of the dark, which, good, if it's dark, awesome. Love that. Unless he's lying. He kind of said that, like, it will be dim. I don't know if he's telling the truth. Wouldn't put it past him. But also, again, it's almost like he's trying to... I don't know if it's that he really doesn't trust Kinger or if this is some elaborate scheme to make them like betray one of their own. I don't know. I mean, Kane didn't really get to play out the full betrayal game from last episode. But anyway, I was going to say this kind of looks like Super Mario Galaxy a little bit. God, this is the thing. So many eyes everywhere.
Whatever happens, I'm going to put my trust in Kinger.
Me.
He's got a lot of wisdom buried in there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, when he uses it responsibly.
What?
It's nothing. Let's go find the others.
Excuse me, kind sir. What the fuck did you just say about my friend Kinger? My father, Kinger? Yeah, when he uses it responsibly? What the fuck is going on? He said they've both done things they're not proud of, that Kinger hasn't used his wisdom responsibly. Is that something to do with the coding of the game, maybe? But what was this switch up? But honestly, fuck this guy. Because you can't just be saying that shit. And I think this is the perfect pairing, actually, because both Ragatha and Pomni have had their lives here irrevocably changed by Kinger and his wisdom. And, his lovely girl dad energy. That's the thing. Me and Pomni, we're like this. Again, trusting Kinger above all else. But also the fact that he said who. I don't know if it's just the name or if this, at this point seemingly farce, is something Kinger can unravel because he clearly doesn't know who the fuck they're talking about or what the fuck they're talking about. And if that's the case, but Abel is still acting like he knows Kinga, then I don't know, he's trying to keep Kinga out of this for some reason or another. And I mean, I appreciate that now that Ragatha knows about the dark thing, and I mean, I don't know if Jax and Gangle and Zubul are about to actually go inside with Kinga or whether they're about to leave, but at least two of them know about the dark thing, so I at least can trust that they trust him enough and they can explain to the others that like Kinga's not actually crazy. If it comes down to trusting Abel or Kinga, I at least feel good knowing that I think Pomni could convince.
Let's go find the others.
This is...
Hey, don't keep information from us if you know something.
Hell yeah.
What happened between you and Kinger?
It'll be clear soon enough.
That's not an answer. Hey, that's not an answer. Which makes me think that maybe he doesn't have one? Oh, this is pushing me to breaking point. Let's just say I'm in two minds about this, but I'm gonna trust in Pomni and Ragatha, but I'm gonna trust in Kinga most of all. And I need them to get in the dark and workshop this. But also, I don't trust this fucker to give them all 6 of the little token thingies. I don't know. Oh god.
So, did you distract Kane?
I took care of that.
He thinks he took care of that, but we really have no way of knowing.
Such little faith in me. Goodness.
Oh, I wonder why. If this whole thing gets messed up because of you, I swear to God.
Yeah, let's just all follow Mr. Obvious Twist Villain instead.
Now wait, hold on. You think...
Let's all just calm down and be a team here.
Okay, we are 22 minutes in. I've got about 10 minutes left. And I have to make a decision because there's something Jack said earlier at a very crucial moment for me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. But now he's just said something that throws that on its head, or rather makes me think it could go either direction. Because this is what I mean about red herrings, is anything in this episode could be a red herring. But usually when a character calls out something that is going to happen, that's like not the thing that happens, right? If at the start of a mystery novel, the characters all suspect this one person, well, it's obviously not going to be them. Or on the off chance that it is them, they like lead you away from it throughout the entire rest of the book. And then the twist is that it ends up being that person, but it's really well covered up. You know what I mean? But in general, it's never, you know, the thing that the characters also believe at first. And this does kind of give me mystery vibes, this episode, because of so many missing bits of information and not knowing who to trust, because I guess the only people really with information are the 3 that we either don't know and like can't fully read, or Kinga, who's been left in the dark, in the light rather, and doesn't know what's going on, so he can't get his input. But Jack said something in the Chinese room, which that feels so ridiculous to keep saying. Oh, the characters were just chilling in the Chinese room. But, oh no, because if I get this wrong, this might not be the case, but Jax just said just now, oh, and yeah, you're gonna obviously trust obvious twist villain here, which makes me think he said like the obvious thing of what we're all thinking, which either Jax is right on the money because he's, in a way, he's almost the straight man in this episode, which is interesting because he's the one really not buying into the whole scheme. But him saying that makes me think 2 things, or rather him saying both of those things, I'll get to the other one, makes me think that it's not true. Obvious twist villain. The show is acknowledging that this is an obvious twist, right? Which makes me think that that's not the twist and there's something else coming. I don't know. I think I have to either choose to trust these characters or trust this fucker that we don't know and is likely full of shit in one way or another, whatever he's hiding. But something Zubul said also, like Jackson's like, oh, I've kept Kane distracted. But Zubul's like, you think you've kept Kane distracted. We have no way of knowing that. Oh, I don't know if you can tell how much I'm hesitating. I'll play out the rest of this scene and then maybe I'll tell you what I've been thinking. We'll see. We'll see if he's given them 6 tokens. I don't know whether it matters, but we'll see.
Villain instead.
Now wait, hold on. You think...
Let's all just calm down and be a team here. Pomni's got administrator passes for everyone. We're all in this together.
Is there really 6? There's 4 there.
Why do they look like that?
Wait, pardon me.
Huh?
No.
Did you say something?
Kinga realized something looking at that token. Something about the token, or just he realized something, and oh, the light. It fucked us. And I also think that Pomni realized that he was about to say something because she looked like she hesitated a minute. Like he was going to say something before he came out here. I think she's clocked something as well. But that moment with Pomni and Jax, oh, this dynamic is so fucked. Oh, I want to talk about it for so long, even more so than I already have. You could read so much into this. As much as Jax is fighting all this, I don't know whether it's if what I said earlier has any credence, maybe a hesitancy to leave, or probably rather either not wanting to get hopes up, or I don't know, just a hesitancy to believe in all of this. And I mean, same. Him and I this episode, we're kind of on the same page. But it's like he doesn't want to participate in all of this, but he is often with Pomni's intervention. Like from the start of the episode, or like when they first found the NPC, he was just going to shut his door again. And Pomni's like, aren't you going to come with us? At every turn. And turned away, but she's offering him the token and like looks away. I didn't know if he was going to take it, but he snatches it and he just turns away and looks away. And I think even if he doesn't trust this whole situation, he trusts her. I don't know. Just the looks on their faces. Oh.
I'm going to have to trust that whatever Jax did will keep him distracted. I don't know how long we'll be able to hold these without Kane knowing. So, it's time. Let's go to Kane's office.
I don't know how long we'll be able to hold these without Kane knowing. Babes, you've been holding on to them since you took them out of the moon thingy. Okay. A masterful ruse, Your Highness. Masterful gambit, sir. Okay. That was loud. Let me lower the volume for that for you guys. Ow. I need to take a lap. Okay. I think it's time we have a talk about the beach episode. Drama indeed. I'm gonna look awfully silly if I'm wrong, but that's okay. I think there's been enough clues so far, but more so than anything, it's because I'm choosing to trust our characters, and I'm choosing to trust me, and I don't know if this is gonna be what bites me in the ass, but I'm choosing to trust my strat, my cold open strat. Right. Bear with me. Hear me out, please. How did the episode start, right? The characters having not seen and not being able to find Kane, right? And I mean, it must have been a little while because Gangle had been in the box. Zubul had been in the box, and then Gangon, Pomni, and Ragatha wander over. And the fact that they're like, we haven't seen Kane today makes me think that it had been at least a little while, right? Yet as soon as they find the note, which probably hadn't been there before, because Ragatha seems surprised, she's like, hey, what's this? Surely they would have seen it. The minute they find that note, and they're reading it in Kane's voice, but it turns out it just was Kane. And in the note in the cold open, it literally said, hey guys, I'm going out to the store. What fucking store? And maybe it seemed like he was just waiting to read out his little note for them. Perfect timing, otherwise. And I was talking about how he was feeling a bit off. And then he set up the Chinese room and then didn't deliver on whatever that was supposed to be and was like, go to the beach, whatever, and then disappears. And so I just thought he was, out of sorts. And maybe because of the macroverse thing and looking at the Polaroids last episode, I was like, benefit of the doubt, that's what's going on. But what did I say about the cold open? That it's probably going to be a Kane-focused episode. And I guess in theory it has been, but he hasn't been here, has he? I guess in the periphery, if we talk about Abel, describing him, and in the general sense, other than that, we've only really seen him in that scene with Jax at the dinner. So I was like, I guess I was maybe off. I guess it's kind of an about Kane episode, but if anything, yeah, he's been mentioned in terms of... Actually, he hasn't really been mentioned. It's more been about Abel versus Kinga, in a way. But I was like, okay, I mean, it can't work all the time, and maybe it's not a legitimate plan on their end. I just like when things come full circle like that. But all that to say, in the Chinese room, Jax was like, you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna, get to the end of this and we're gonna escape. And Kane's gonna say, congratulations. You have won the adventure, whatever he said. And that immediately kind of snapped me out of a potential thought I was having. Because announcing it like that means it's not going to happen, right? But then the way he said this, of like, obvious twist villain here, he didn't say that sarcastically at all. He's like, this guy's obviously a twist villain. Whereas the other thing he kind of said sarcastically, which means he wasn't stating it for fact. And what happened right before that scene? We see the paper. And what was on the paper? A bee. Why the fuck was that there? Especially given I commented on it rather specifically at the start of the episode that Kane loves doing his little doodles, and at the very start of the episode we saw his little note with a bee on it. And you know, I felt that something about this is a setup, they're getting played somehow. But all of this to say, I don't trust a word out of Abel's mouth, right? And what was I saying about the way he speaks? It just doesn't sound right. But because of this, and I thought, you know what? He kind of sounds like, I don't know, inhuman, you could say. But there just wasn't enough to work with. And I think now there is. Because why does this so-called developer, I don't know, he has all this intricate knowledge of where to go, how to get there, all these things that maybe a developer would know in theory, but in practice, it's completely different. It's like, you know how Pomni was holding the gun too realistically? It's the same thing. It's one thing playing a video game from like, you know, a keyboard and mouse or controller and actually being there and doing the movements yourself, right? It's different. So I'm like, he knows exactly where to go. Why does he have like personal belongings? Why did he just draw a smile on his face to differentiate himself from the other blank NPCs? Oh, you mean how Kane differentiated disappearing guy with a hat and Ming with some Google eyes and a cap or something? Oh, I'm gonna look so silly, but is Abel Kane? Or maybe that's not true. Maybe it's like a different file version of himself somehow. But I think Jax might have been right. Again, for the first time since he hasn't really been going along with the adventure, he's kind of been the straight man in this episode, as well as Pomni, who's kind of clocked some of the BS. But if Kinga really was a member of the development team, of course he'd be like, who the fuck is that? And I don't know what the hand tokens necessarily mean, but I mean, I know that this isn't going to happen regardless, but I don't know. Either way, something's off here. I don't know. I could be way off, and I still am kind of thinking about those two, like the sharks, the weird fish guys at the start. I mean, actually, that could be reframed in a way as well. Because he was like, I'm the one that tells lies. And he's like, dude, you ruined it. Was that foreshadowing that one of the two, Cain and Abel in this episode, one of them is... I just sat here for like a minute thinking about that. I need to move on, but I'm still thinking about it. I don't know, this could be not true at all, but I don't know, it's just the way that Jax pointed out the obvious twist villain. I'm like, there has to be something else. And when Jax called out the, you know, this is what's going to happen, congratulations, similar to what happened with anytime they brought up Kinga, he deflected and was like, you'll know soon enough, or I made a promise, some nebulous thing without any justification. Jax said that, and instead of refuting it, he just goes, I've been watching. Who else has been watching? I don't know.
Kane always did have trouble with cube collisions, for some reason.
This is the thing, if I look at everything under this lens, which I have been, but there's been so many ways to read things, but the way he just said that, and the way he talks about Kane sometimes, he's like, Kane always had problems with this for some reason. Like, not defensive necessarily, but sometimes it comes across as pitying or sympathetic or even defensive. It's just, oh, and all of them looking up at the balloon and Jax looking away. Because this is the thing, this is going to break my heart because I know they're not getting out of this. I always knew that, but oh, this is not good. Nope. Let's continue.
All right, just how we went over it. You first.
Me? Why me?
Jax, everything's gonna be okay.
Fine.
This is the thing, this fucks me up so much because obviously he doesn't trust what's going on for good reason, but also I'm loving the balance that he's giving because he's oscillating so naturally between being a bit silly and funny, but also in front of everyone showing real disgust and fear and like Me? Why me? He either can't or doesn't want to hide his real expressions now, only for Pomni to come in reassuringly, which I think she's clocked something's off, maybe. Definitely. I don't know in what way, but I think no matter what happens, she's telling him that everything's going to be okay. I love that even though he doesn't trust the situation, it really seems like he trusts her or is going to go with her. Or even just, it could even be shock and, I mean, almost wonder in a way that she's speaking to him so gently and is like reassuring him after everything that they went through last episode. I can imagine that he probably never thought she'd look at him that way again. And I don't know, he's choosing to not believe what's happening, but trust her in this moment. Like just the way he looks at her and his little pupils darting back and forth to her eyes. Oh, it's too much. It's too much. It's the thing, I bet he never thought things could go back or that, yeah, she would be able to treat him the same again. But it's been a slow build up over the episode, like little gestures here and there, like, are you going to come with us? And in the moment when he's kind of uncertain, and this could be the make or break moment of whether, I mean, it's not going to happen, but what if they were all to leave and it actually worked and he was the only one left here? No matter what happens, she's going to make sure that they're all together and they're in this together.
Ball me up.
Oh, actually. But see, some of the little silliness came out again.
Oh, like basketball.
Into the basket. Okay, first of all, why would the super secret entrance to Kane's office have easy access through a hot air balloon just there? But also, this is what I've been waiting for. Because I was thinking about the sharks. You know at the beginning how the thing of I'm the one that lies really made me think of that riddle. You know, the one person in front of the door, I completely forgot a detail of that, which isn't relevant in every rendition of the mental puzzle, but usually it's two doors, one person in front of this one person in front of that one, and it's one person in front of heaven and one person in front of hell, and the one in front of hell lies and the one in front of heaven doesn't, and you ask them the questions to figure out which door you want to go through, right? And this just really made me think of that because obviously these two doors are connected, right? But they're those two different colors, and in so much media, in so many shows, blue and red are kind of used as opposites or opposing colors, opposing forces, or even parallels but differences. For example, I know Severance, it's used quite a lot. And this is, again, this, you know, paratextual reading using outside things could be completely irrelevant, but in Severance, I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it, no spoilers, of course, but the main character, Mark, let's just say the title, Severance, there is a separating of himself. He's two people, right? Technically, he's two people. And there's so many motifs of one part of him being blue and the other red. Or in his home, he has a fish tank. And they're those, like, I think Siamese fighting fish or something. And they can't be kept together because they'll eat each other. So there's a split in the middle of the tank, and one of them's blue and the other's red. That's the motif. And it's in a lot of other shows as well, like specifically blue and red. I don't know if there's any specific significance for that or why people use it, but it's there. And so it's easy to look at it and think, oh, you know, this is Kane and this is Abel, especially because we really see Kane being very red focused. And also Abel, when drawing on like the plans and everything, though there was red ink used, but he was using a blue pencil. So it would be easy to make those parallels. And going back to the sharks at the beginning, it makes me think of, you know, those two doors. But what's so interesting is that these two different sides, the blue and the red, the two doors, one tells lies and one doesn't. But the shark at the start did both. If he was telling a lie, he was actually telling the truth. And if he was telling the truth, then he's actually a lie. You know what I mean? He was both in that moment. And the other shark goes, dude, you ruined it. And maybe it has nothing to do with Severance, but the two parts that are both himself are combined. And it's like blue and red, the two opposing parts, but they're both one person. I don't know. It's interesting. Kinga, go first. Kinga, go first.
I want Kinger to go before me.
No, yeah. That makes sense.
Now, Pomni.
Thank
don't
God,
feel
Pomni.
like I need to go before you just because I have the right of way in a four-way uncontrolled intersection.
Thank God
Just
she's
occurs to
smart.
me. You want to get somewhere dark?
You can say that again.
Just trust me.
So, how are you getting up?
I'm not. But I trust all of you to make the right choice.
When we all get out, I'll buy you a beer.
Make the right choice.
That was very inhuman of him. Where's the small talk, my guy? But when she, thank God, was like, I want Kinga to go before me. Obviously, she clocked that. She was worried he wouldn't send Kinga afterwards. But when he said, no, yeah, that makes sense. I was worried he was saying no. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't do that. But yeah, thank you, Pomni. But that interaction of, how are you getting up there? Oh, I'm not. But that doesn't make any sense because if anything, right, if only one person needed to release them or do whatever, then wouldn't it be better if the rest of them were all distracting Kane together right now? But instead, all of them are in there and Abel's just out here. The one person who supposedly knows what's going on and how to get out is not going. But also that response, if I didn't think something was off already, him saying make the right choice, and then Pomni saying, when we get out of here, I'll buy you a beer, only for the close-up of make the right choice. Instead of responding to what she said, could not have made it possibly more obvious that he's not planning to see her on the outside. If he was just some dickish higher up at the CNA company or like a developer, I guess it would make sense if he just sees them as characters maybe, but if you think about who else might be speaking through him, telling them to make the right choice, once again, makes me think this is a setup. And there is a right choice, which means one of them is the wrong choice, and I don't know what that would do. Oh, and Pomni's the only one who heard it. Oh no. Fuck.
Make the right choice.
Yeah, she knows something was off.
Whew. I was getting kind of worried something was happening down there.
Something was. Pomni knows
Time for
something.
me to serve my purpose, I guess.
Music even sounds very Mario Galaxy. Like we're at Rosalina's big sky castle thing. Yeah, these orbs must all be the adventures. I'm seeing like the Aurora Borealis. I'm seeing the Candy Kingdom from episode 2 and the softball field. And oh, these are like the asset designs. Gloink, Gummy Elephant, Happy Fish, Mannequin. Oh, I'm sorry, Mannequin NPC, of course.
Abel said the door to the main console was
The hand.
behind the bookshelf.
The hand, why is the hand there? And how would Abel know this?
Hey, you alright?
I'm great.
I'm assuming that little snowy cottage place. I know in the Polaroid with Kaufmo and Ribbit, they were drinking like hot cocoa or something. I wonder if that was there or whether he just has another fond memory of an adventure there with them. Oh, he looks so haunted. I know it was bullshit, but moments like this, tiny part of me does wish to have the old Jax back just so that my heart's not breaking every 2 seconds. If he could just plaster on a fake smile right now, that would be Brillo for me because I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. I feel so sad. He can't even hide it anymore if he even wants to. Even when he deflects with like, yep, I'm great. It's like there's no sincerity behind it. You can tell that he's bullshitting and the facade's not back up.
I'm great.
Pomni always trying to reach out to make the connection.
I guess this is it.
Oh. But as I was talking about balance earlier, this is exactly the kind of thing I mean where even at like resting state, he no longer has the grin plastered on. I mean, I know that he's going through it, but even the eyes are just at a more natural openness, not the wide Cheshire cat grin. It's just more of an equilibrium, whether that be a good or a bad thing right now, but it's just interesting. Oh, blue and red.
I guess this is it. We're leaving the circus.
Jax? I can't tell if this is one of the last vestiges of his just inability to let those walls down. But also, even if he thinks, I mean, I don't think that he thinks this is going to work, but if he did, I can imagine that he wouldn't want to get any more attached to anyone here than he already is, knowing he might never see them again. Because, I mean, as he said earlier, even if all of this was true, this is the thing. Obviously, they remember where they put the headset on, so I just can't believe they're in some, big thing of like stasis pods. That's the thing, how would they find each other again? But also, even if he doesn't think this is gonna work, the last time he grabbed someone's hand or like reached out for someone, he fucking abstracted. Like, this is not a good situation for him. Like the last time he reached out, and that was with no hesitancy. He immediately just reached out to, I'm assuming, to touch Ribbit's hand, and yeah, he fucking abstracted. I wonder if that's what's playing through his mind right now. I don't know. It could be a million things. But this could just be the last shreds of his self-control of like, no, I'm not. I mean, you can see it on his face. He's not pretending like he's not affected by this. He's so, I don't know, he just feels it all. But maybe this is some kind of self-preservation as well, because imagine he does join hands with them and they all go together and it doesn't work. It's almost like he has this different kind of facade, this wall up of him not trying to get his hopes up maybe. Or based on what he said about, someone waiting for him on the outside, maybe his feelings about leaving are more complicated than we thought. That's what I was thinking. But I don't know, maybe he just can't let himself hope, because when it doesn't work, it'll hurt all the more. But also, if what Abel said was true and they woke up in the same facility, maybe, but if it worked otherwise, they might never see each other again. She doesn't push it. She just carries on. She tried. Jax.
Are we still gonna be friends when we're out there?
Why wouldn't we be?
It's just gonna be strange. I've only known you like this. Will it be the same when it's real?
It always was real. Everything we felt, everything we've done, everything we are. It'll never leave us. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you for always being there.
Fuck, no. Oh, I was just waiting for it. He wasn't with them, but he was. Honestly, this is even more reason why. I'm like, if he was in the line, it wouldn't have been such a touching image, but I was just waiting for it to cut to hopefully see his face overhearing this. Because, I mean, that was beautiful of Zubul to say, because, yeah, it is real, but imagine what he's thinking. Because this feels like the end of something, even when they don't get out of here. It's almost like people saying their goodbyes, this kind of final conclusion and the assertion of, it was all real. Everything we felt, everything we did. And I can imagine Jax hearing that, just even thinking back, maybe all of the things he felt, good and bad, maybe with his old friends, but also all the things he's done. Because I think part of him, I mean, I know that he knows he has done wrong, but part of him probably thinks, this is part of the cognitive dissonance of when I play these cruel jokes and everything, they're not real. None of this is real, like the laser tag analogy. I'm not actually hurting anyone. But these kind of assertions of everything was real, like just because this is digital doesn't mean what we felt with or for or about each other isn't real. And I wonder if that's kind of hitting him. I mean, he looks deep in thought, but also sad. Like, yeah, everything you did was real. And it affected real people in a real way. And there was also, like, thinking back to the first time he made Pomni laugh and last episode singing Daisy Bell, like, there were things you did too that were real and made people smile. It's all real. And it's an interesting analogy for kind of friendships in the digital age and meeting people for the first time through, gaming or through the online sphere in some way. And I mean, it's so different because I remember the genesis of this kind of thing. I was still young enough that it was just the beginning, and your parents are always like, don't trust anyone you don't know in real life. If you've met them in real life, you're fine, but anyone on the internet's probably a 40-year-old trucker. And I mean, well, yes, there are instances, but I guess now as it's more commonplace and more people seek connection online, I mean, sometimes you then meet in person and it's like weird, or it's just, oh, no, this isn't online friendship, but sometimes it's nice. It's, you know, not so black and white anymore. And I know some people who their realest friendships are the ones that they've made online and they've never met the person, but that doesn't make it any less real. So it's a nice nod to that. But also, oh, Jax's life is flashing before his eyes right now. And it's also interesting, I have to think it's intentional that Zubal's wearing like the Jax arm attachment for this episode and during this piece where they're saying everything we've felt, everything we've done, it was all real. The moment that it goes to the hand is like everything we are, it'll never leave us. Like it's showing this. I mean, it's also the hand that Jax, his left hand, not this exact hand, but that he kept looking at after pushing Pomni away and seeing it metaphorically now clasp hands and say, everything we are, it'll never leave us, as he's probably thinking about people who have left him. But also to cut from this to showing Jax in the background listening to everything and just, oh, he cares, but he's so messed up.
Always being there when I need it.
Oh, fuck off. No, when I was saying that he was probably thinking about people who have left him when they said everything we are, it'll never leave us. And Jax is just back there, you know, pretending like he's not paying attention but intently listening, only for Gangle to then say to Zubal, thank you for always being there when I needed you. And he's listening to all this probably thinking, I wasn't there when they needed me. No, I can't do this. Move away from Jax's face, please.
When I need it.
No. He's having a panic attack. Red and blue. Oh. Red and blue, fuck. I mean, I don't know what the two choices are. They look like buttons. I almost thought it was an elevator at first and I'm like, hello, Severance. But again, I associate, in general, the red door, I don't know about the blue bit. I feel like the red is Kane. I don't know what the blue is. I mean, I guess we're supposed to think it's Abel, but I have my thoughts on that. But also Jax was like almost hyperventilating there. And again, you could read it as not wanting to get his hopes up and panicking like maybe we're not going to get out of here, we're so close. But there's just something about the way he said about someone waiting for him on the outside, the fear in his eyes. I don't know, I think it's because we always see him typically as someone who kind of epitomizes the I want to get the fuck out of here. But we see him now after he's lost people he really cared about, Kofmo and Ribbit. I wonder if when he first entered, maybe he thought, hey, this isn't so bad compared to what I've got going on outside. We don't know that, but we see him now so miserable and like feeling trapped. And I wonder if that's because he lost the people who made this feel like home, rather than it just making him feel trapped in general. I mean, both could be true. Obviously, you don't want to be trapped here, but I don't know. He seems panicked about... I mean, it's a fair reaction either way. Maybe it's just the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen, or maybe he's still running on high or rather low from the abstraction scare earlier. Maybe he feels like this is his last chance to escape before he abstracts. I don't know, but I was going to say if this doesn't work, but when this doesn't work, I'm so scared. But also, oh my god, even as I kind of explained my thought process, there's obviously little bits and pieces that I've forgotten to mention, but the biggest thing is the fact that I initially thought it was going in one direction. When Abel was saying all those things about Kane, like he's trapped here just like you. If you do this, just know you'll be leaving him behind. I didn't fully know the motivation behind that, but showing Kane then all ooey gooey and like, wowie, oh my god, and like tearing up, trying to make you sympathize with him. If I'm on the right track in any way, maybe that's to make you look elsewhere. And like for the first time, I was actually feeling a connection with Kane before I started getting even more suspicious. But if we fully believe everything Abel said, and then it turns out to not be what we thought maybe, that would be such a gut punch. I don't know, I thought maybe something bad was going to happen to Kane, as I said, because of the way it was framed, like, oh, look at Kane, he just wants to be like you guys. I was feeling a bit bad for him, in case he was going to be destroyed or if something was going to happen to him, but it could also be for the completely opposite reason. Oh, I need to rip the band-aid off. Let's end this one way or another. The red button will close the console and keep all players inside the circus. The blue button will end the game and disconnect all players. All players. Not including the abstracted ones, I'm assuming, if we're following these rules. But this is what I'm saying. I think the Kane choice is the red choice and the blue choice is the Abel choice, but I'm scared of, what did Kane say? Freudian slip. What did Abel say? Make the right choice. I mean, if anything, that's one piece that goes towards we need to doubt this man. But that's the thing, after, not that I did before, but after he said make the right choice twice, like obviously you would think we would know, especially when Pomni said, I'll buy you a beer on the outside. Make the right choice. I will be choosing to go to the outside. See you there. Make the right choice. That would make me think like, oh, maybe the leave choice is wrong. Maybe it's a trap or something. I don't know, but obviously, if they press the blue button, it will end the game and disconnect all players. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean, I don't know, maybe end of the game could even mean like end the adventure if this is an adventure. But I don't know, I don't trust it. I think if Abel said that to me, like make the right choice, like over and over, I would think that maybe the right call is the opposite of what you would think.
Kinger, do you want to make the choice?
The choice of what?
Yeah.
Are you sure he's all the way here?
Hey, yeah, wait. Don't
She's having
we all
second
want
thoughts.
to press leave? Why leave it up to him?
Abel got in her head.
There's something we don't know.
Yep.
Maybe we should give it a little more time?
Agreed.
Oh, yeah, I love pressing buttons. You, want me to press one of those too?
I don't know.
Am I missing something? We all want to
Jax?
leave, right?
Pomni?
Yeah, we do. It's just, what if it's a trick or something?
Why would there be a trick console in Kane's office? Like,
Why are they not showing
no matter what
Jax?
we press, Kane's gonna know
Oh, they
we're
are.
Here. We should push it.
Hold on. Let's just wait a second and
Hold on.
go over everything we know, and maybe we can
He's having a panic attack again.
on it or something.
Oh no. No. Nope. I mean, first of all, saying, why would there be a trick console in Kane's office? Why would there be this in Kane's office in the first place? A button to just end the game, disconnect all the players, right next to another shiny button of close the console, keep the players inside. It doesn't make sense. But also, this is fucking me up because Zubul looks back at Jax, right? And also, everyone is on the other side. Ragatha, Kinga, Gangle, and when Zubul's talking about everyone, they gesture back at Jax after looking at him and going, we all want to leave, right? Pointing at Jax as he stands there looking distraught, on the very verges of a panic attack, if not already there, and then we just don't see him until this shot. We all want to leave, don't we? Cue panic attack even more. I don't know if that's right or if something else is going on, but then we see, I don't know if this is the beginnings of abstraction. I know we saw it in the bathroom at the end of last episode. Whatever it is, maybe it is just a panic attack. But then flashes of the real world as he's panicking. Maybe he's just desperate to get there and he's so scared that he's not going to get there. But having this kind of panic after being told, like, don't we all want to leave? These flashes and these panics, something happened to him. I don't think he wants to leave. Or maybe he wants to, but maybe what's waiting for him isn't any better. Maybe it's actually safer in here. He's gonna press the... He pressed the red button.
Do?
Like, he didn't even know what he was doing in that moment. The panic attack took over. And like the fight or flight he was in, he just sprints and presses the don't leave button. Now that's new information I wasn't expecting from him. I thought maybe based on some theories I have about maybe what's happened to him, as I mentioned. I don't know, I was thinking about that, but I don't think I ever questioned fully whether or not he would really want to leave. And maybe he just made a mistake here. Maybe in the panic attack he let that take over and he didn't really know what he was doing. But yeah, he chose not to leave when it came down to it. Or maybe he thinks that if he pressed yes, like we can leave. I was about to say, I mean, he doesn't necessarily know, or know what we know about only the lucid characters being allowed to leave. Maybe they did get a closer look at the page and maybe he saw that bit. I'm wondering if maybe he thinks it's not going to work for him. Let's just say he believes they would be allowed to, get out of here. I wonder if he thinks after the abstraction scare earlier that he's too far gone and he's not going to be allowed to leave. And so he'd rather keep everyone here with him than be left alone. But I mean, it could be part of it, but I choose to believe that the flashes from the real world more point to that for whatever reason, even if it's just for a moment, he doesn't want to go back.
Congratulations, my little cattywampus cucumbers! You picked the good ending, where you realize you'd rather stay with me than go back to that.
As I said, masterful gambit, sir. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. You cheeky bastard, I fucking knew it. Oh, I would be so fucking pissed off if I believed that it was gonna work, only for Kane to just swoop in. And again, that's what I was saying about Jax. When he genuinely said, oh, this fucking twist villain here, but thought back to the sarcasm of, congratulations, you finished the event. It wasn't said in the same way, and I would be much more inclined out of the two to believe that first one could happen, because it was almost indicating like, oh, this won't happen. Surely not. But you piece of shit, Kane. Trying to make us have sympathy for you. Oh, and that hurts even more because he was saying all that stuff to Jax. Not that Jax believed it, but I'm so happy, I just want to fit in with you guys kind of thing. Only for this to be happening the entire time. Abel, who the fuck is that? That fucking NPC. Any other blank NPC? Fuck you. Fuck all of you.
Rather stay with me than go back to that pesky old macroverse or whatever we decide to call it.
I knew it was a trick
I
question.
Knew you'd make the right choice.
Oh, Jax.
Was all
an adventure, yes, and one I've been cooking up for a good long while. Great job playing your part, Abel.
All in a good day's work. By the way, you think I could get a raise after that performance?
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete.
I knew we didn't have fucking personal affects. That's a hot dog in a locket. Promise. Oh my god. Of course, Kane was controlling the whole thing. They told us he was watching, but also I was thinking back to the little sharks, the fish, with the treasure chest. I don't know, there was just something. I mean, it might not even be proper foreshadowing, but the fact that she wasn't even looking for treasure, but the fact that the treasure was already empty, I mean, it's almost symbolic for, the prize at the end of this not being real. But also that's interesting because it's not like Kane necessarily personally lied. He's very good at, I guess maybe that's the thing with the AI, he's very good at talking around things or wording things in a way that cover up mistruths. But Abel seemed to be lying a fair bit. And if he's a creation of Kane, then can either Kane's creations lie? Not that Kane can't lie. And sometimes weird shit happens. Let me finish this, but I have thoughts.
None of that was true. The CNA stuff, the pods, the way out.
A fabrication of my
I knew the pods
building
were
skills.
fake.
I was right?
Yeah, baby, you are. Please don't abstract.
I can't believe I was right!
What would have happened if we picked the other button?
Oh, I didn't put too much thought into that one, cause I knew you'd never pick it. So I left that up to Bubble.
I made it take you to Shrimp Town.
Yeah, it was gonna take you to Shrimp Town.
Does take you to Shrimp Town mean burn you alive and turn you into a fried shrimp thing that we saw at the start? Was that a threat? Or what is Shrimp Town?
Take you to Shrimp Town.
You dirty liar! You scumbag! You made me... You got in my head. You just lie about everything, don't you?
Huh?
You can mess with our minds too, can't you? The stupid sauce, the vegan thing, God knows what else.
Our names?
No, hold on, guys. Wait.
It's funny, that's what I was just thinking, talking about how, I think I mentioned earlier, God, I can't remember. I can't keep track of what I've said out loud and what I've maybe thought because I've kept things a little closer to the chest in this one because I wasn't sure what direction things were going in. If I accused Kane so early on, I mean, to be fair, early on I was giving somewhat benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, we'll go along with. I don't trust this Abel fella, but I'll take things at face value, similar to Pomni in that way. But then things were just adding up. Yeah, I think I did mention the whole being able to affect their minds thing and about Kane lying. Maybe he's been told or programmed to think that he can't affect people's minds, but maybe he can. And I was even thinking that when I said that maybe Abel, I guess by extension Kane, but in that moment, maybe Abel had something to do with Kinga's loss of lucidity or even the abstraction thing. I was like, maybe Abel, I don't know, had something to do with it just based on the way that he was trying to avoid Kinga and implied that something really bad happened between them. But if he is a creation or a manifestation of Kane in a way, I mean, I know Kane just said that he's getting too advanced by you're dead. He's like what he did to Gummingu as well. Though I had much fonder feelings for Gummingu than Abel. But I was wondering if maybe that is a lie after everything we've heard and seen. Maybe Kane doesn't believe that he can affect their minds, or maybe he knows that he can. I don't know. But oh, the devastation on Jax's face. I don't know if it's that he really did have hope that they were going to be able to leave, or the opposite. The way he said, you dirty lie. That was me and Abel. Wait, me and Jax this episode actually. Because that was me and Abel. Like, you Weasley little, you liar. You're a lying liar who lies. And by extension, Kane. This is the thing, it's always periphery. And so even though I've never really trusted him, I know a lot of you in the comments are like, no, he is just an AI, like he does have, maybe not their best interests at heart, but he is trying to entertain them. He's trying to, you know, do his role kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I'll give him more benefit of the doubt. And he also seemed confused by that when Jax was like, you lie about everything. You lie all the time, don't you? And Kane's like, what? I think maybe he's not supposed to be able to affect their minds, but if it's something in service of, maybe there's a hierarchy of laws here. Maybe if it's to benefit like the adventure or the entertainment, maybe if it's something that he thinks is needed, he can, you know, supersede that rule. Maybe even without meaning to, like without consciously deciding I'm going to affect this person's mind. Or maybe he just can. And maybe he is a dirty fucking liar. But the way Jax just, heart achingly devastated. He was like, you scumbag. Tears in his voice, and then cutting himself off. You scumbag. You made him what? Made him hope to escape? Made him have a panic attack about the thought of potentially being able to escape? Or maybe he now suspects Kane of something a little more sinister. He follows this up with, you've been able to affect our minds this whole time, haven't you? Does he think Kane's messing with his head, leading to his abstraction? Oh, Jax, this breaks my heart. No.
You got in my head. You just lie about everything, don't you?
Huh?
You can mess with our minds too, can't you? The stupid sauce, the vegan thing, God knows what else.
Our names?
No, hold on, guys. Wait. I may have the ability to add temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting.
See, this is what I said, because I questioned the stupid sauce and I questioned the vegan thing. I'm like, are these temporary? Are these insular in the adventures? Because I could see that making sense. But does that filter into the outside at all? Pomni chimed in with "and our names." Us not being able to remember our names, maybe? I just realized this. But Zubul looks pissed. And I like seeing them all united for once. And it's very fitting that Jax has this vulnerable moment in front of everyone. And yeah, Zubul's ready to go to bat for it as well.
Temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting, but that's it. If I did anything more, trust me, it would not end well.
Scratch. The first abstraction.
Hey! I didn't say anything like that! Come on, guys! You know I'm just here to have fun.
Okay, I mean, loving this energy, loving these two. Thank you. Stay on the same page, please. Oh, the anger towards Kane. Finally. I'm gonna need a Captain Holt in here.
Vindication!
But this fucking rocked me. What do you mean? What do you mean? Actually, what do you mean? Because here is our good man Kinga standing He promised it was going to be dim. He promised it was going to be dim, and then he whips out the huge fucking screen. And it's not like there's anything big. Like, even when there was blue and it was just like a dim screen, it's not like there was a tiny bit of text. But then shit flashbangs you. It's almost like he wanted Kinga to, maybe not, but that's the thing, maybe it was unintentional. But a consequence of that is Kinga basically got flashbanged, yet what Kane just said unlocked such a core memory that even in the face of this bright light, he looks him dead in the eyes and realizes, oh, you caused the first abstraction. Scratch. Which means Kinga was there from the beginning. Which makes me think maybe it was Kane messing with Kinga's mind, because maybe Kinga was there from the beginning in a game dev capacity or in a coding capacity, and maybe whatever Kane did started scrambling minds. But that makes me think there's more layers to what Jax just said of, you got in my head, you made me realize that you lie about everything. You can get in our heads, can't you? I wonder what he thinks the implications of that are in terms of the other abstractions. And Kane said, you know, if I tried anything else, which means he can, he just shouldn't. He's like, if I tried anything else, that would not go well. And either Kinga just realized this, or maybe he knew back then that that's what happened, but he's just forgotten. Fuck.
Hey, I didn't say anything like that. Come on, guys.
And now he's panicking. He didn't think Kinga would remember.
Questioning's over. Your prize is this lovely gift basket of soaps and lotions.
Oh, thank
Stay
goodness.
pregnant, have a good night. Fragrant night. Bye.
Have a good light. Was that a Freudian slip? Did he have the fucking flashbang light on purpose? I mean, he didn't want Kinga to come along for this. Was he worried that it would unlock something in Kinga? Because there seemed to be an awful lot of precautions. Trying not to involve him in the adventure. Trying not to get the others to tell him. Trying not to get them to bring him with the tokens. And then promising it would be dim. But then with this huge fucking light. And then to say, have a good light? That's got to be intentional. I have to believe it. What the fuck did I just watch? What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck that was. Because funnily enough, I was almost getting to the point where I was thinking, I mean, in hindsight, it was maybe half and half, but it was definitely less character focused than normal, but in a different way. It was like plot focused, but the point of that was to get insights into maybe Kane and maybe into the world and Kane's motivations and his fucking lies and whatever else is going on. But I mean, all of this could be a red herring that maybe there is a way to leave the circus. And Kane staging this huge thing, same with the exit door. He put it there only to say, oh yeah, I made this, you know, just to pretend there actually is no exit. And then this huge grand ceremony, this huge ordeal, making them go through effort all day to get ready to escape, only to then not, I mean, there was no chance of it, but trying to convince them to press stay. Okay, I am back. I had to step away to put dinner on, and I'm now a wreck. Because not only was that episode a lot, but I also cut the biggest onion that's ever existed and just tears streaming down. But subsequently, I have delicious spaghetti made from scratch. Not the pasta, bought that shit, but the rest. So I'm gonna hurry up and eat this before it gets cold, but I just wanted to... I was gonna step away and think on it and come back with more concrete thoughts, but I still... my mind is just racing, thinking about it, what it could mean about abstraction, what happened to oh my god, I can't, you motherfucker. I mean, I guess that's all that there is left to say is R.I.P. Scratch. Don't know who you are, but you were a real one. Rest in peace. That's rough, but fuck, man, why am I getting my heart broken over a purple cartoon rabbit? What the fuck? The animation team is just working fucking overtime on the pained expressions on his face. And I'm not strong enough. I can't deal with this. But also, Abel, big fuck you to you, buddy. Right back at you at Cain. And I hope that what this leads to is some unity between our player characters. I mean, we did sort of see that at the end of the episode. But this is the thing. I don't know what's going to happen, but this episode seemed to be designed to, I don't know, give us more affection for Cain. Even the end of last one where he didn't get chosen at all, but he was all blushy. And then this one, the wowie and him being all cute. And I don't know, it seemed to try and make us feel for him, only to rip it away at the end and make us furious. And I'm really concerned about where things are going to go from here because they're all fucking pissed. Rightfully so. But now that that little slip happened from Kinga about Scratch, only for Cain to panic, and I think he was trying to intentionally manipulate Kinga with the light. I mean, even, you know, as Abel, I don't know if he was speaking through Abel or if he put part of himself into Abel. Like, if it is just the AI of Abel, that's still given by Cain. Cain's the one who's sort of enacting that and making that happen. Any knowledge, for the most part, that Abel would have is knowledge Cain gave him. So the way he talked about Kinga and then was like, oh, you know, with the way his mind is, blah, 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 makes me think, I don't know if he had something to do with it. I don't know, but I feel like maybe we're at a everyone versus Cain section, which terrifies me, but also makes me really happy because I think previously, maybe intentionally, maybe not, perhaps there was part of Cain that was trying to cause division, trying to sow chaos. Like, I don't know, especially at the start, everyone was kind of at odds with each other. And slowly they've come to really be a group. And Jax was kind of the last holdout. But at the end, when even after he did the button thing, I mean, I know everyone was not happy with that, but it turned out to all be a lie. And very much, I said this in the first episode, I think, that he was giving me Gladys from Portal vibes. And this very much feels like a thing Gladys would do. I mean, maybe she might go a little further. But it really feels like that kind of psychological manipulation. Obviously, it's full malice behind that, but I don't know. Yeah, even after he did the button thing, once everything came to light and just that moment of breakthrough and breakdown, you see everyone turn, Zubul, expression turning furious, everyone just looking at Cain. And he's supposed to be in charge of them, you know, running the circus, giving adventures. What does he do if they all fucking hate him? But also he's got all the power. So what can they do? I'm fucking scared. I wonder if, I mean, one prediction I had earlier on about maybe if Abel is real, is he trying to get Cain deleted? And I didn't even question if that was possible. I just assumed that maybe it was if some developer was trying to get rid of him. Is it possible? Because I feel like he's either going to continue running the show and maybe they're going to, I don't know, be really trapped now. Or maybe they're going to try and get rid of him. I don't know. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. But yeah, these take so much out of me because I put my whole heart and soul into watching this show, I swear. I feel like I'm there. But it's crazy. That was one of my puns earlier before I revealed kind of what I was thinking is I'm in two minds. You know, Cain and Abel maybe being the one person. But I'm in two minds because half of my heart is entirely thinking about Jax almost fucking abstracting. What the fuck? Only for the episode to get so crazy that that's not even at the forefront, but I'm thinking about Jax's little journey there and also the whole bullshit with Cain. My mind is a whir. So I'm gonna eat this delicious spaghetti and continue to think about it. God, yeah. That's that. And it is getting very chilly, so I should go get ready for bed anyway and eat up. So that's all from me. Fucking hell, oh, this has got me fucked up. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, you guys.